Hallelujah. How's everybody going today? Let's see.
Let me move all this shit.
This is your time to get your meringue K. We're going to stir some of this up, as you know. Stir some good nutrition. We got the, I just want to show you the different sizes of the HalleluYAH Scripture Bible. And this is that's the parallel one on the right, and then the normal standard on the right, left. It's got the pertains. And today our topic is going to be about Thoth. Has anybody heard of this man? We're reading on the HalleluYAH show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're reading the Emerald Tablets this evening, and so hope that you tuned in. If you do not, you know, it's a little bit different than our normal HalleluYAH show, where we do read the entire Bible in Hebrew to the world, and we do this live on Facebook. We're going to get tuned first. We're going to the 432 hertz. We like to tune for each segment, and this is the 432 hertz. I like to just welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. This is the HalleluYAH show. You made it to the HalleluYAH, and we're happy to have you. Aloha. Alright, so we got tuned. Did I drink some of this? Get your meringue K. Get some more of that. And how's everybody doing? You look great. I understand. Okay, we're gonna chug some more of this. This is the meringue K from the website. That's some good stuff. And if you don't know how the HalleluYAH show it goes, it's just like that right there. That's our logo for the HalleluYAH show. In case you're not with it, we welcome you. So we just got tuned. If you missed the tuning, I suggest watching this again. We're doing the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Welcome everybody. So we already got tuned. We did the tuning, and I might do one more tune beforehand. This man, I believe, after reading about him, I have my lovely artist over here who has been coloring this up. He's doing a fantastico job of coloring him, as much as, you know, he is very mischievous looking feller, ain't he? He, you know, I don't know. It's very interesting. I don't know what type of mindset he has, but he does look like an alchemist, where the word deliberately comes from alchemy. Kemites. The Kemites from Egypt, who, it seems like a lot of people there's a bit of a fibulation of what what color skin they were. Of course, they probably were darker skin. It's not my critique to determine that, but I would check out Mr. Milton, Jamar Milton, who definitely does know about all that. And we got a video on our site that talks more about that. We went and did the expert secrets. We've read quite a lot of the HalleluYAH scriptures live on Facebook, from Hebrew, Paleo, Aramaic to English, as you can see here. So if you have a favorite book, please post it below. We'll read it live on Facebook, because that's what we're known for doing. We got all the books here, and we got the 24 rejected books as well. So get your good old health products out that you got from us, most likely. The monotonic silver. Yes, monotonic balance. This is the real platinum, palladium, gold, silver, What else is there? Rhodium, ruthenium, palladium, platinum. That's why I said that. Rhodium, ruthenium, indium, iridium, and osmium. And I just like to take these under the tongue. It's about 7 drops. And what it is pretty much mono 1 cell M state orm. If you've not heard of it, and that's about how much I took under the tongue. Not sure if you just saw me there. So we do that. We got tuned, right? That's the steel drums. Let's go back to our tuning box here. Here we go. There you go. A tongue. Tubular bells. Alright, that'll wake you up. Yes, thank you so much for coming along for the HalleluYAH show. And just getting stuff started here. How's everybody doing? Where are you from? What's up? We're going to get into this Emerald Tablets of Thoth here in a moment. This one is... Wow. Almost spelled it. That's good stuff. That's the monotonic balance. So that does have the gold, platinum, palladium, ruthenium, all of them. Okay. So we're going to get into this actually here in just a second. I'm going to begin reading. Okay. Soon as we're going to have the audiobook. Okay, here it is. The Emerald Tablets. Okay. Thoth, the Atlantean. Okay. Translation, interpretation of the most ancient and secret of the great works of ancient wisdom. Wow. Okay, we have the preference here, the preface here with the trouble contents, the original Emerald Tablets of Thoth, or some say Thoth, the Atlantean. Introduction to the original interpretation of the Emerald Tablets, the history of Thoth, the Atlantean, Tablet 2, the Hall of Amenti, the Key of Wisdom, Tablet 4, the Spaceborn, Tablet 5, the Dweller of Anul, Tablet 6, the Key of Magic, Tablet 7, the Seven Lords, Tablet 8, the Key of Mysteries, Tablet 9, the Key of Freedom of Space, Tablet 10, the Key of Time. Tablet 11, the Key to Above and Below. Tablet 7, the Law and Cause Effect and Key of Prophecy. The Tablet 13, the Key of Life and Death. And then the supplementary Tablet 14. Ooh. And then there's 15, which is the Secret of Secrets. So this is exciting, y'all. We're going to have this being read. All that. I actually have it in audio form. I will leave a link below. If I didn't already in the video, you can check it out, and it'll have it so you can just listen along and hear the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Like I said, I promised everybody I was going to do this, and again, thank you everybody who support the HalleluYAH show, the Hebrew, Aramaic to Paleo Bible. We're shipping these out still, and thank you all so much for your support and donations for our ministry. Is pretty much, I think the disclaimer is in the description below, but just in case you can't read it or it's not there, what have you, I'll just say this: we are non-biased, non-religious, non-dogmatic view of reading sacred, holy books, wisdom, ancient wisdom, archaic and esoteric in manner, and we just read it face value, raw to the world, word for word. And I'm not a pastor, I'm not a preacher, I'm not a minister, I'm not a prophet, I'm not a guru, and I'm not a teacher. None of us are here. We are actually just reading this for what it's worth as a educational purpose or a thought professing. We are thought professors in this, right? So as thought professors, thought professing, we read and we just analyze and put it together. So there's no judgment, there's no hate, there's absolutely no bigotry, no racism. We don't do any of that stuff as we're talking about Thoth, the Atlantean. Has anyone ever been to That's a good question. I don't know. But regardless, if you have or if you haven't, tune in for this as we are going to the darkness of the night with Thoth, the Atlantis. Atlanteans and Atlantis. So Atlantis, I wonder, that's right between here and Europe, right? America and Europe. Okay. So we got the tablets here. I already read the prefaces. We got tuned. If anybody's just tuning in, you might want to watch this video again as we already tuned. I might tune you guys again. I don't know. It's up to you guys. Let's see. Tune. This is 432 hertz. You can tune. All right. Alright, let's get it going. Let's get it rolling. It's nice to see everybody there. Dua, dua, dua. Throw your nines up. Throw your nines up. Because 9 is divine. And we love the divinity and wholeness of that divine love. And the Merkaba. The Shamayim. Right? Yahuah, Yaira, Shama, Rafa, Shalom, my friends. Alright, let me pull this up over here so we can get... Let's see the audio. Ooh. These different things. Oh yeah, don't forget to check out my channel here. I've got a new channel up. Atlantis Found, Mount Meru, Eyewitness Testimony, Real Explorers. Amazing stuff. Amazing. You'd want to check that out. One of the best stories I've heard of the year. Really cool stuff too. I mean, look at this stuff. Look at all that. If you've ever heard of Mount Meru or There Are No More Trees in the Forest, some of you might have seen it. Unbelievable storyline and stuff like that. We got a whole channel playlist over here. Some fun, exciting, good stuff about truth. The Cosmic Egg Theory. If you guys haven't seen that yet, go check that out. The Cosmic Egg Theory. There's Atlantis Found. Cosmic Egg Theory Unleashed. Unbelievable stuff. Okay. So again, thank you all so much for watching and tuning in. You know, like I said, let us know where you're from and all that good stuff. Wow, there I am. Listen, I hear myself. Alright, let's get this show on the road here. I'm just going to kind of share it. Anything you ask me is just going to end up bouncing back to everybody else. So one thing I'd say is if you could ask Hermes one question, what would it be? What would it be? Anybody out there know? Huh? If you could ask Hermes one question, what would it be? Something about life and how long you can live, like everlasting life. So that was the question presented to us down below. If you guys want to post, what would you ask Hermes, the guy who knows how to live forever, right? The flying guy, figured out DNA, the divinity, dua, dua, dua. All that good stuff. Okay, so I shared that. We're going to go into... Okay. You know what? I actually do like to have some of the frequency sound in the background. And we're actually just going to read, I think, the first one. So it's not going to be too much of the sound. Or, it's not going to be all 7 tablets. Or 13 tablets, excuse me. And then the Secret of Secrets. I'm really excited to see that. The Secret of Secrets. Okay. Let's see if I can find. Let's see. So if you had one question you could ask Hermes, what would it be? Post below. Don't be shy. Love to see what you come up with. We're on the topic of the Emerald Tablets. Does anybody know what the Emerald Tablets are and how they pertain to the Bible? We'd like to know what you think. Where do you think the Jesus Christ Yahuah character came from? Does anybody know? Does anybody know where the Jesus Christ character could have came from? Some questions to ask. Now, I can't find that, so we're just going to forget about the sound. We're just going to stick with this one. Actually, we'll have to go to 432. Okay, then we're going to go over here There's Kabbalah. Okay, here it
Works
is.
of Ancient Wisdom is brought to you by audioenlightenment.com.
There you
Copyright
go.
2014. All rights reserved.
There you go.
Preface to the original, The Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean.
Thoth.
The history of the tablets translated in the following pages is strange and beyond the belief of modern scientists. Their antiquity is stupendous, dating back 36,000 years BC. The writer is Thoth, an Atlantean priest king who founded a colony in ancient Egypt after the sinking of the mother country. He was the builder of the Great Pyramid of Giza, erroneously attributed to Cheops. In it, he incorporated his knowledge of the ancient wisdom and also securely secreted records and instruments of ancient Atlantis. For some 16,000 years, he ruled the ancient race of Egypt, from approximately 50,000 BC to 36,000 BC. At that time, the ancient barbarous race among which he and his followers had settled had been raised to a high degree of civilization. Thoth was an immortal, that is, he had conquered death, passing along when he willed, and even then not through death. His vast wisdom made him ruler over the various Atlantean colonies, including the ones in South and Central America. When the time came for him to leave Egypt, he erected the Great Pyramid over the entrance to the great halls of Amenti, placed it in his records, and appointed guards for his secrets from among the highest of his people. In later times, the descendants of these guards became the Pyramid Priests, by which Thoth was deified as the god of wisdom, the recorder, by those in the age of darkness which followed his passing. In legend, the halls of Amenti becoming the underworld, the halls of the god, where the soul passed after death for judgment. During later ages, the ego of Thoth passed into the bodies of men in a manner described in the tablets. As such, he incarnated 3 times, in his last being known as Hermes, the thrice-born. In this incarnation, he left the writings known to modern occultists as the Emerald Tablets, a later and far lesser exposition of the ancient mysteries. The tablets translated in this work are 10, which are left in the Great Pyramid in the custody of the Pyramid Priests. The 10 are divided into 13 parts for the sake of convenience. The last 2 are so great and so far-reaching in their import that at present it is forbidden to release them to the world at large. However, in those contained herein are secrets which will prove an inestimable value to the serious student. They should be read not once, but 100 times, for only thus can a true meaning be revealed. A casual reading will give glimpses of beauty, but more intensive study will open avenues of wisdom to the seeker. But now a word as to how these mighty secrets came to be revealed to modern man after being hidden so long. Some 1,300 years BC, Egypt, the ancient Chem, was in turmoil, and many delegations of priests were sent to other parts of the world. Among these were some of the Pyramid Priests, who carried with them the Emerald Tablets as a talisman by which they could exercise authority over the less advanced priestcraft of races descended from other Atlantean colonies. The tablets were understood from legend to give the bearer authority from Thoth. The particular group of priests bearing the tablets emigrated to South America, where they found a flourishing race, the Mayas, who remembered much of the ancient wisdom. Among these, the priests settled and remained. In the 10th century, the Mayas had thoroughly settled the Yucatan, and the tablets were placed beneath the altar of one of the great temples of the sun god. After the conquest of the Mayas by the Spaniards, the cities were abandoned and the treasures of the temple forgotten. It should be understood that the Great Pyramid of Egypt has been and still is a temple of initiation into the mysteries. Jesus, Solomon, Apollonius, and others were initiated there. The writer, who has a connection with the Great White Lodge, which also works through the Pyramid priesthood, was instructed to recover and return to the Great Pyramid the ancient tablets. This, after adventure which need not be detailed here, was accomplished. Before returning them, he was given permission to translate and retain a copy of the wisdom engraved in the tablets. This was done in 1925, and only now has permission been given for a part to be released. It is expected that many will scoff, yet the true student will read between the lines and gain wisdom. If the light is in you, the light which is engraved in these tablets will respond. Now a word as to the material aspect of the tablets. They consist of 12 tablets of emerald green, formed from a substance created through alchemical transmutation. They are imperishable, resistant to all elements and substance. In effect, the atomic and cellular structure is fixed, no change ever taking place. In this respect, they violate the material law of ionization. Upon them are engraved characters in the ancient Atlantean language, characters which respond to attuned thought waves, releasing the associated mental vibration in the mind of the reader. The tablets are fastened together with hoops of gold-colored alloy suspended from a rod of the same material. So much for the material appearance. The wisdom contained therein is the foundation of the ancient mysteries. And for the one who reads with open eyes and minds, his wisdom shall be increased 100-fold. Read, believe or not, but read, and the vibration found therein will awaken a response in your soul. In cosmic harmony, Doriel, supreme voice of the Brotherhood.
Okay.
Introduction.
Okay, so that was just the beginning portion of it. Okay, sounds amazing. And, so, alright, wow. I'm just gonna, we're gonna get to this here. Just gonna post this in the group, and there he is. Keep in mind, everybody, too, this is not, when people say, I know one thing a lot of people say is, oh, I don't want to hear about other god deities, or this is a different god, same with Hermes, you know, well, and actually, a lot of it has been misconstrued by the books that we read, and it's been turned into religion. When you actually read the Metra Netra, it's just like the Sumerian text. When we read the Sumerian text, it was never intended to be a religious thing or a dogmatic thing, ever. Thoth, all the Egyptian Metra Netra, all of this stuff was intended to be about principles. So that often gets misconstrued. Principles that went along with the 48 Confessions, which later became the 10 Commandments. So it became reduced and all that stuff. So we often hear a lot of different perspectives. But like, for instance, Zechariah Stitchin, who wrote the different books of Enki, the lost books of Enki. So we have Sumerian, we already read the creation story in the Sumerian text. We've read a couple of the different things in the Sumerian text already, the beginning. And but we do not use books that have, like, see, this, someone wrote this book. So this is the, there's a publisher to this book. See, Robert Kurosaki. Okay. He wrote this book about his experience with business, okay? This is a book that's written by a collective amount of men, many hundreds of men, rewritten several times, okay? Taken from the Torah, from the Aramaic Hebrew, and then it literally got changed to the Paleo, ended up, now it's in English, and from Latin and Greek, of course. Now, when you have these many transliterations and revisions, such as the Council of Nicaea, which this has been rewritten hundreds of times, obviously. But imagine if someone wrote a book about this Bible, right? That's what you see oftentimes. A lot of people, whether it's Joel Osteen or, you know, the guy that wrote Purpose-Driven Life, Rick Warren. Okay, so some of these people, you know, they write about a book, right? So that's what we see here with, you know, the Atlantean, the Emerald Tablets and stuff like that. You'll see that they write about this character and write him off often. What you'll hear from the Bible, the Biblios version of it, is that it is pagan and therefore takes you away from this God, and that this God has nothing to do with that God. So we're not into, like I said, bias, dogma, or religious beliefs, or any connotations that has anything to do with taking your focus off whatever it is you believe, which I feel belief could be to believe in a lie. If man made it, you've got to be very careful, right? I think everybody could agree with that. So we are going to continue on reading this and realize this man, this depiction of the full self, a Christ consciousness, the fullness of self. We're going to see what it's about. Because a lot, you know, after reading what I read, the 12 Pyramids of Thoth, which we'll be reading, it sounded a lot like this man was similar to Serapis Christos or Jesus, Isios, Jesus, Yeshua, Christos. So is it the Christ consciousness, or did something else influence that magnitude, that power? So we're going to look, and again, like we said, unbiased and unadulterated, no racism, no bigotry. We're not favoring a religious belief over another. We're clearly reading this information because some people don't ever get the time in the day to read Emerald Tablets, you know, and stuff like that. So we're going to continue with the introduction of the Emerald Tablets. Atlantean. Okay.
To the original, an interpretation of the Emerald Tablets. In the following pages, I will reveal some of the mysteries which as yet have only been touched upon lightly either by myself or other teachers or students of truth. Man's search for understanding of the laws which regulate his life have been unending, yet always just beyond the veil which shields the higher planes from material man's vision, the truth has existed, ready to be assimilated by those who enlarge their vision by turning inward, not outward in their search. In the silence of material senses lies the key to the unveiling of wisdom. He who talks does not know. He who knows does not talk. The highest knowledge is unutterable, for it exists as an entity in lanes which transcend all material words or symbols. All symbols are but keys to doors leading to the truth, and many times the door is not opened because the key seems so great that the things which are beyond it are not visible. If we can understand that all keys, all material symbols or manifestations, are but extensions of a great law and truth, we will begin to develop the vision which will enable us to penetrate beyond the veil. All things in all universes move according to law, and the law which regulates the movement of the planets is no more immutable than the law which regulates the material expressions of man. One of the greatest of all cosmic laws is that which is responsible for the formation of man as a material being. The great aim of the mystery schools of all ages has been to reveal the working of the law which connect man the material man and man the spiritual. The connecting link between the material man and the spiritual man is the intellectual man, for the mind partakes of both the material and immaterial qualities. The aspirant for higher knowledge must develop the intellectual side of his nature, and so strengthen his will that he is able to concentrate all power of his being on and in the plane he desires. The great search for light, life, and love only begins on the material plane. Carried to its ultimate, its final goal is complete oneness with the universal consciousness. The foundation in the material is the first step. Then comes a higher goal of spiritual attainment. In the following pages, I will give an interpretation of the Emerald Tablets and their secret, hidden and esoteric meanings. Concealed in the words of Thoth are many meanings that do not appear on the surface. Light of knowledge brought to bear upon the tablets will open many new fields of thought. Read and be wise, but only if the light of your own consciousness awakens the deep-seated understanding, which is an inherent quality of the soul. In the threefold light, Doriel.
All right, and we are also, just want to kind of do a side note here, the Kolbrin Bible we'll be reading, as well as the Sumerian Text Bible, and wanted to show you this site called theancientsymbols.com, where if there's any words that you all don't understand or you have a question about, just let me know, because many of them we can find, in the Netrametra or the Egyptology of these words, like the Ankh. I'll just show you Ankh, for instance, is the symbol of eternal life. You may hear the word Ankh in this, which is, it symbolizes eternal life. It's the 9, it's the, the feminine divinity and the male divinity, and then the child in the middle, creational life. Okay. The gods are often seen holding an ankh, someone's lips, or this is considered to be an offering of the bread of life. The bread of life in the afterlife. You'll see it looking like they're feeding on it. Might be where the Catholic Church got the idea of the communion bread, which has been integrated down to and passed down to Christianity. So that's where you get your communion bread. Afterlife. It's communion of the afterlife. Of course, they'll tell you, I'm not trying to intermediate it, but that Jesus is the flesh, and remembrance of him, the flesh and the blood, that he is the sacrifice, the intention with the blood sacrifice. Okay, so there's more information on that. We'll probably post some of this. I actually wanted to look up, does anybody know exactly when the Emerald Tablets were published? Because we want to first say that, and then we're going to get right back into it. Just let's see if we can find the dates here, because we're going to correlate how the Emerald Tablets, how long they predate, because I want people to understand this predates the Bible, the Torah. Okay, so what you want to do is get your notebook out, and any words or any things, if you're following us with the HalleluYAH show, we want to see what things that correlate between the Emerald Tablets, the 12 pyramids of Thoth, and just anything that we can find that is any collaboration. See, it is said inside of it as you're reading it that it's 38,000 years old. And a lot of times we've been kind of dumbed down to this, well, we only been here 6,000 to 8,000, maybe 10,000 years old. But even the Sumerian text does show we predate that many hundreds of thousands, and if not millions. So, but again, we're not going to go into that. Really, I just want to find the date, so we can find a date. If we have to, we'll write down 38,000, like find a pin, 38,000 years from, see, I don't know if that's the date we want to put. Let's just for right now, what we have is an alchemical book, 38,000. And it looks like looking through the inner self to have self-realization of the outer self. And so you have Hermes, the thrice the greatest. Okay, so we got some other books that's coming our way. The Egyptian god Thoth, and Hermetic wisdom. Okay, and then you have the Gnostic beliefs. So I see where this ties into the Gnostics. Okay, so you have Gnostics that say a lot of stuff, and it's just so amazing. And again, we're not doctrinal. I just want to say that we are not a doctrinal, for any entity at all, or religion. Actually, we're not promoting any such religion as well. See, it looks like there's Latin text, all that stuff. So, all right, I don't still see a date. History, textual history, Greek. Okay. If anybody knows the date that the Emerald Tablets were, people believe the Emerald Tablets were arranged, put together. It looks like here, 38,000-year-old alchemist guidebook, shrouded in mystery. Oh, there's your Emerald Tablets. Isn't that amazing? Look at the color of it. That is pretty wild. Okay. Okay, it says here, Emerald Tablets, in fact, depending on what you read or trust, the body of work is a mere 1,200 years old, or a whopping 38,000 years. Okay, so tablets have described rectangular green slabs, plaques with exquisite relief lettering. Okay, we're going to jump ahead here. Okay, so base to metal to gold, transmutation. Okay, so there's definitely some alchemy from the Kemites. Pyramid chamber of Sri Lanka cave, the mysterious origins of the Emerald Tablets. Occult history buffs, students tend to agree tablets were originally uncovered around 1350 BCE, the hidden chamber under Egyptian pyramids, Cheops, and often the tale of discovery. So we have pretty much the basic belief of 1,000 years before Christ. Then it says here 700 to 799 CE, Arabic Balanas. Okay, and there's a picture of the man himself. That's a cool one. The first time, I guess that's the first time. And yes, he, in case anybody is wondering, he is a pelican man. I believe. And I did post earlier today the original artwork of Adam and Eve, and we showed how they kind of put him and portrayed him in the background, because the original creation story comes from the view of this man creating us, or being the alchemist of this, which, again, this is why it's so important to read these texts, because we see the same thing repetitive being passed down. For instance, in the Sumerian text that we read before, we had Tiamat, and she had gotten the gods together. There was the one god who created people, so he was the magic kind of god. He was making the people. She was forming what she wanted to create, and then she had her sons. So again, it's a twisted, diverse divinity thing with multiple gods. Then as you get to the Egyptian Kemite god belief, you have Thoth here, and you have different people. Whether you're talking about Osiris and Ra Amen, and then Heru. Okay, and so it looks like here first time was written more than 12,000 years ago. the Egyptian mysteries in the Western religions. Okay, so we're probably going to put all this in there. I just thought I'd ask if anybody knew what they thought, how old they thought this book was. Some Jewish mystics, on the other hand, say that Seth, or Adam's son, is the real author in the Seth's original camp. The Emerald Tablets were later in Noah's hands, took them aboard his ark. Following 40 days and 40 nights, Noah supposedly then hid the Emerald Tablets deep within a cave somewhere near Hebron. Later, so this story goes on, they were discovered by Abraham's wife, Sarah. Interesting. Okay, so this does correlate to the Bible. Looks like they were reading the tablets already before that. Maybe as they were writing the Torah, they were reading the Emerald Tablets, perhaps? That's pretty interesting. Yet another version of the tablets' origins tells of Hermes, another of Abraham's son. So it looks like Hermes was a son of Abraham, according to this, giving them to Moses' daughter Miriam. Miriam allegedly placed them in the Ark of the Covenant, where they were said to remain even today. Okay, despite the mystery surrounding the tablets, the origins of alchemy in general among alchemists today and those in the past were almost complete agreement. Alchemy's origins lay in the pre-pharaonic land of Egypt, Ephraim. It was a gift from the gods during the first time, or Zep-Tupi. According to the legend, the group of gods or godlike beings arrived in Egypt. These beings shared with the people in advanced technology. Okay, here we are. We're back. So I kind of just read it. I'll just tell you, it looks like the first time, which was one of the first tablets of the Emerald Tablets to humanity, they believe it was more than 12,000 years ago. Okay, so we do have a number there. Source books for the Egyptian mysteries of Western religions. Okay, so one of the key truths revealed in the Emerald Tablets is the notion, you may have heard it, as is above, as is so below, or as above, so below. If indeed the origins of this message come from a long lost tablet, does that mean the wisdom of ancient Egyptians itself, but a copy of something much older? Okay, so is itself but a copy of something much older. Excuse me. Okay, so the ancient Egyptians, this being passed down, these Emerald Tablets, was it being passed down from something even further before that, perhaps? Could the Emerald Tablets of the source books of both the Egyptian mystery schools and all Western religious traditions? We know that Judaism, Islam, Christianity all share certain principles which link back to Abrahamic traditions, but students of the Emerald Tablets argue that those Abraham-based precepts can be sourced within the far older Hermetic principles revealed in the Emerald Tablets. Okay, certainly in the principles of mysteries outlined in the Emerald Tablets date back to the first time. It would have been easy to see how they could have reached the influenced the likes of Abraham, Moses, and the early Hebrews. But like the rest of the tablet mysteries, we can't know for sure of the origins truly date back to such an ancient pre-flood era. In fact, we can't even be certain there actually is a set of Emerald Tablets, despite their fame across the centuries. Evidence of actual tablets, however you choose to interpret the text as they've been translated down through the ages, one thing with far less room for interpretation is the existence of the tablets at all. Despite compelling arguments by sages, alchemists, and mystics, we have yet to find or refind the stones. Were there indeed slabs of emerald carved with the formulate for magic by the ancient king of a long-lost world? If so, where did it go? Well, possibly Atlantis, wouldn't you say? It connected between the two continents, between America and Africa. Freemasonry's famous tablet translators. Did translators such as Balinas, Sir Isaac Newton, Aleister Crowley, Albertus Magnus actually see these tablets? If not, what reason would any of them have to invent a story that exists of its existence at all? Well, that's very interesting, because Freemasons took a lot of this from the black Kemites, the Egyptian Kemites, and they pretty much hijacked the culture, just like the Hebrews most likely hijacked their culture from the Egyptians, and they borrowed it from the Sumerian Aryans, which are in Ur or Sumer. So there's a lot of this. I don't believe they've lost anything, and we don't know. This is what they're telling the public, folks, so have a little common sense. We're unbiased, but we're not stupid. Okay, so I would say that, if they're not sure about dates or if it exists, I'm sure they want to say that because they don't want to ruin their Christian enterprise at all, because that would be really stupid. Think about it. If they have the original text or whatever, then they would know when the dates predate and all that stuff. But the Freemasons, they pretty much had taken this information and created a mystery school out of it eventually, and you had the Hebrews creating Judaism and all that, and they had the mystery schools of Judaism, like the Kabbalah, right? And so, each phase we go back, it seems it becomes more and more reduced, sacred, and then it's just a different form. It just keeps changing. So it's like the greatest story ever told, and it just keeps being pushed back into a new religion, or cult, whatever you want to call it. And sadly, some people, like myself, waste our entire life believing a lie and end up just in the religious, in the emotions habitually of I guess you'd say the solar enlightenment that is created by the church. So anyways, we may never know the answers to the mystery behind the Emerald Tablet's origins, their true nature, or even their existence at all. What we do know is that the information as it has come down to us reveals secrets which alchemists throughout the ages had long sought to keep hidden from the world. Information you and I may use to transform matter, or perhaps even ourselves. What's your take on the Emerald Tablets? Like it says here, leave a comment below. We read each and every one. I hope you enjoyed that. That's the Ancient Explorers article. So, yeah, awesome. Check them out, Ancient Explorers. Okay. Still, so it's a bit undefinite on the answer of these tablets. I will say, if these tablets came before, like this time, and like we said, we read the Sumerian tablets, could even go back 250 plus thousand years, according to the King's List, right? So don't forget to watch the Sumerian text segment we had on the HalleluYAH show. We've already read some of the Sumerian text. So let's continue on. Let's go with where we were with our friend here, our principle of alchemy of I guess we have the Hermetic thing. We learned that, the Gnostic view, the belief. So let's continue, and let's see. Someone said, "Can I have a reading?" You absolutely can have a reading, and we will leave a link below if you want the reading for this video. We definitely can share that with you anytime.
End of introduction.
Okay, so that's the end of the introduction. Let's see here. All right, let's see. Okay, so we're in Emerald Tablets 1. Let's see here. The history of Thoth, the Atlanteans. Now this would be really interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it play. And oh, it looks like that's going to be the end of that, huh? Okay. We'll let him finish it out here. Okay, now we're going to part 1 tablet.
Emerald Tablet number 1.
Okay. I'm gonna get to some more Moringa K. Have a break, get you some organic popcorn, a fruit smoothie, some Moringa K from us, get some of that health and nutrition in you, get a smoothie. Go get something good out of the refrigerator, some organic grapes, a nice slice of watermelon, a salad, and just eat some greenery, some nuts, some fruits, veggies, and nuts. That's what I suggest. Come on, get it, grill bowl out. Let's hear the history of this Atlantean, okay? Here we go. Let's see if it's on the steam. I guess I could just put it up here.
History of Thoth the Atlantean. I, Thoth the Atlantean, master of mysteries, keeper of records, mighty king, magician, living from generation to generation, being about to pass into the halls of Amenti, set down for the guidance of those that are to come after, these records of the mighty wisdom of great Atlantis. In the great city of Kior, on the island of Undal, in the time far past, I began this incarnation. Not as the little men of the present age did, the mighty ones of Atlantis, live and die, but rather from eon to eon did they renew their life in the halls of Amenti, where the river of life flows eternally onward. 100 times 10 have I descended the dark way that led into light, and as many times have I ascended from the darkness into the light, my strength and power renewed. Now for a time I descend, and the men of Chem shall know me no more. But in a time yet unborn will I rise again, mighty and potent, requiring accounting of those left behind me. Then beware, O men of Chem, if ye have falsely betrayed my teaching, for I shall cast ye down from your high estate into the darkness of the caves, whom whence ye came. Betray not my secrets to the men of the north or the men of the south, lest my curse fall upon ye. Remember and heed my words, for surely will I return again and require of thee that which ye guard. I, even from beyond time and from beyond death, will I return, rewarding or punishing as ye have requited your trust. Great were my people in the ancient days, great beyond the conception of the little people now around me, knowing the wisdom of old, seeking far within the heart of infinity knowledge that belonged to the earth's young. Wise were we with the wisdom of the children of light who dwelt among us. Strong were we with the power drawn from the eternal fire. And of all of these, greatest among the children of men was my father, THOTHME, keeper of the great temple, link between the children of light who dwelt within the temple and the race of men who inhabited the 10 islands. Mouthpiece after the 3 of the dweller of Unal, speaking to the kings with a voice that must be obeyed. Grew I there from a child into manhood, being taught by my father the elder mysteries, until in time there grew within the fire of wisdom, until it burst into a consuming flame. Not desired I but the attainment of wisdom, until on a great day the command came from the dweller of the temple that I be brought before him. Few there were among the children of men who had looked upon that mighty face and lived. For not as the sons of men are the children of light when they are not incarnate in a physical body. Chosen was I from the sons of men, taught by the dweller, so that his purpose might be fulfilled. Purpose yet unborn in the womb of time. Long ages I dwelt in the temple, learning ever and yet more wisdom, until I too approached the light emanated from the great fire. Taught me he the path to Amenti, the underworld where the great king sits upon his throne of might. Deep I bowed in homage before the Lords of life and the Lords of death, receiving as my gift the key of life. Free was I of the halls of Amenti, bound not by death to the circle of life. Far to the stars I journeyed until space and time became as naught. Then, having drunk deep of the cup of wisdom, I looked into the hearts of men, and there found I greater mysteries and was glad. For only in the search for truth could my soul be stilled and the flame within be quenched. Down through the ages I lived, seeing those around me taste of the cup of death, and return again in the light of life. Gradually from the kingdoms of Atlantis passed waves of consciousness that had been one with me, only to be replaced by the spawn of a lower star. In obedience to the law, the word of the Master grew into flower. Downward into darkness turned the thoughts of the Atlanteans, until at last in his wrath arose from his Aguanti, the dweller. This word has no English equivalent. It means a state of detachment. Speaking the word, calling the power, deep in earth's heart, the sons of Amenti, heard and hearing, directed the changing of the flower of fire that burns eternally, changing and shifting, using the logos, until the great fire changed its direction. Over the world then broke the great waters, drowning and sinking, changing earth's balance until only the temple of light was left standing on the great mountain on Udal, still rising out of the water. Some there were who were living saved from the rush of the fountain. Called to me then the Master, saying, Gather ye together my people. Take them by the art ye have learned afar across the waters, until ye reach a land of the hairy barbarians, dwelling in caves of the desert. Follow there the plan that ye know of. Gathered I then my people, and entered the great ship of the Master. Upward we rose into the morning. Dark beneath us lay the temple. Suddenly over it rose the waters, vanished from earth, until the time appointed was the great temple. Fast we fled toward the sun of the morning, until beneath us lay the sand of the children of Cam. Raging, they came with cudgels and spears, lifted in anger, seeking to slay and utterly destroy the sons of Atlantis. Then raised I my staff and directed a ray of vibration, striking them still in their tracks as fragments of stone of the mountains. Then spoke I to them in words calm and peaceful, telling them of the might of Atlantis, saying we were children of the sun and its messengers. Cowed I them by my display of magic science, until at my feet they groveled when I released them. Long dwelt we in the land of Chem, long and yet long again, until obeying the commands of the Master, who while sleeping yet lives eternally. I sent from me the sons of Atlantis, sent them in many directions, that from the womb of time wisdom might rise again in her children. Long time dwelt I in the land of Chem, doing great works by the wisdom within me. Upward grew into the light of knowledge the children of Chem, watered by the rains of my wisdom. Blasted I then a path to Amenti, so that I might retain my powers, living from age to age, a son of Atlantis, keeping the wisdom, preserving the records. Great grew the sons of Chem, conquering the people around them, growing slowly upwards in soul force. Now for a time I go from among them into the dark halls of Amenti, deep in the halls of the earth, before the lords of the powers, face to face once again with the dweller. Raised I high over the entrance a doorway, a gateway leading down to Amenti. Few there would be of courage to dare it, few passed the portal to dark Amenti. Raised over the passage I, a mighty pyramid, using the power that overcomes earth force or gravity. Deep and yet deeper placed I a force house of chamber, from it carved I a circular passage reaching almost to the great summit. There in the apex set I the crystal, sending the ray into the time-space, drawing the form from out of the ether concentrated upon the gateway to Amenti. Other chambers I built and left vacant to all seeming, yet hidden within them are the keys to Amenti. He who in courage would dare the dark realms, let him be purified first by long fasting. Lie in the sarcophagus of stone in my chamber, then to reveal I to him the great mysteries. Soon shall he follow to where I shall meet him, even in the darkness of earth shall I meet him. I, Thoth, Lord of Wisdom, meet him and hold him and dwell with him always. Built I the great pyramid, pattern after the pyramid of the earth forth, burning eternally, so that it too might remain through the ages. In it I built my knowledge of magic science, so that it might be here when again I return from Amenti. I, while I sleep in the halls of Amenti, my soul, roaming free, will incarnate, dwell among men in this form of another, Hermes thrice born. Emissary on earth am I, of the dweller, fulfilling his commands so man might be lifted. Now return I to the halls of Amenti, leaving behind me some of my wisdom. Preserve ye and keep ye the command of the dweller. Lift ever upwards your eyes towards the light. Surely in time ye are one with the Master. Surely by right ye are one with the Master. Surely by right ye are one with the All. Now I depart from ye. Know my commandments. Keep them and be them. And I will be with you, helping and guiding you into the light. Now before me opens a portal. Go I down into the darkness of night. End of Tablet 1.
Okay, awesome. End of Tablet 1. That was pretty quick.
This event is for people that want to get into real estate.
All right. What did anybody say real quick is that what I immediately got out of that, just where it said he refers to himself as the Lord of Wisdom. He built those pyramids. Okay, see, this is where you want to get your little notebook out and think in lines of this: the Old Testament, the Old Testicles, the Torah, right? The beginning of the Bible. Okay, this is why often Christians barely even read 25% of the Bible, front and back. 25% of Christians even do that. Now imagine if they read that, but then also looked at who could this man be here. We got any pictures of Thoth? Could this man be King Solomon? Or what is your guys' thought? I got some junk on this. I just had this rag here. This will work good. Oh, wow. That's him too? Oh, shoot. I messed up. I think by saying... I lost it completely here. I'll just look at it here. Heck with it. I would say with the wisdom part of it, let's see, the world. Okay. So that's when the cards come in. I know someone asked me for reading. I see what they mean by that now. I don't do readings. But I were just a educational, kind of non-biased, non-religious, doctrinal, program where we read all ancient sacred texts. So with the Emerald Tablets, that's where we're at today. And don't forget, I'm going to put in the link description below the Sumerian tablets, which we also read too. Oh no, now I really screwed up. But I'm just going to tell you, being a Bible thumper, that I've read all the Bible and all the different books, and we read in the HalleluYAH scriptures. Don't forget to check out our HalleluYAH scriptures. It looks like the Emperor card came up. I'm not sure if I went to a different thing here. Let's go back, okay, here we go. All right, there we go. If you look him up, there he is, Pelican Man. Some people say here he is. This is how Hermes is often depicted in hieroglyphs. The ibis-headed god, the ibis, I guess it's ibis-headed god. The ibis head, symbolic of the air elements in the analogous in the spirit, and so it goes analog between the element of air and the spirit. To intellect, Hermes is also writing or recording, which is also a function analogous to the Hermes Trismegistus Thoth. Okay. It's hard for me to read it. It's really small print here. And here's a couple of hieroglyphs with the Metra Netra. And again, I suggest everybody go check out Jamar Milton, who is online, and he does talk a lot about ancient Egypt and the Kemetic arts, what have you. So I would say I see a lot of his character being that of King Solomon. Okay, off the flip, that was the first idea. Did he look like this? Probably not, but I think I said to my girlfriend that it's really cool. Look at that one. That's a 3D one of them. That I think that's really cool. I think they depicted him this way because it's just really cool, and like people would remember him like that rather than just some man. I think that's probably why. Because look, it worked. I mean, it's brilliant. Like, look at that. That's a cool dude. You wouldn't want to hang out with the magical god that looks like a pelican? I mean, that's pretty badass. I'm sorry. It's really neat. I mean, think about it. Whether they're just ancient, archaic stories, myths. What I've noticed, this is the big thing to understand about all of this, ancient Kemetic history, Sumerian history, is they had a system set up for the people, okay? And the system had a little bit of the mythology, right? And the mythology mixed with methodology. And that was meaning kind of like a system. So there's a system to this chaos, right? And with that, there was something called alchemy, which was the first natural chemistry, right? That's where chemistry essentially came from. So what we're seeing is, as we digress from this ancient history, that it becomes more and more watered down. It becomes more reclusive, and they are profiting. There's a system out there that is profiting at a much wider and bigger, massive level. That's a really cool one. So, look, what do we have? Mythology, methodology. We have etymology, which is word meanings. Okay, so they take the sacred metra, netra, these different symbols, and they started to make language out of it. That's what you see, the hieroglyphs and all that stuff. Okay, so then you have these gods, right? Ooh, gods. Why did they have the gods? See, there you go. the gods did not mean they worshipped these deities necessarily, that they were principles. They were principles of whether it was the sun, the moon, different times of the day. So there you have the methodology of the astrology, the study of the stars, sun and moon. You have the astronomy, right? The idea of astronomy and astrology is totally this man right here. Okay? The idea of the stars and observing them, and then the microcosm of it affecting human beings. It's brilliant. Okay? That doesn't mean it's evil. You see? This is one thing that you kind of dislike about religion, because they think, oh, well, you get it all here in the Bible and whatever. That's not really the point. The point of the matter is these things have principles that you can learn that adapt to today. Yes, now we have a clock, we have a calendar, we have, religion, we have a belief, okay? But back then, they were just forming all that. That's where this came from. You see? All this stuff, the myth of Jesus Christ, the Bible, all that stuff came as a sun book. It was an astrological book, allegorical, not literal, but illustrative, to explain to them when they had to change their crops, turn it over, grow, food, all that stuff. You have the sacred geometry. They even tie it with sacred geometry, which ties in with the stars, the sun, the moon. Okay, everything ties together, says Van Gogh. Gives me time to go invite people or post it in the group. I got it in the plot.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. All right, we're back. I guess what I do notice is the Jarmar Milton. When you start to talk about ancient knowledge, we talk about Sumerian texts, a lot of stuff. They often will cut us off. I'm lucky and blessed to be on this long. So I hope y'all are enjoying. It's so great to see y'all here. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is our show, the HalleluYAH Show, where we normally talk about the Bible and stuff like that, which we're not going to change. But this time we're kind of going back to the roots of where the Bible could possibly have came from. And that's just, my 2 cents. And there's Hercules. Oh, yeah, these are some names to write down in your notes. Whenever I say, hey, write these down in your notes, it'd probably be a good time to write them down in your notes. Hercules, Heru, Jesus, Jesus, Isios, Christos, etymology, semantics. And that was what the Hebrews were really good at. Semantics. I'll just say it like that. That's a really respectful way of saying it. They were good with semantics, which is words. You can twist words if you know the semantics. And then etymology is the study of those words. Okay? It's really fun. That's a really cool artwork there. We love artwork. And that's the other thing the Kemites, Kemetic, people brought. Look at the artwork they gave us. I mean, there's no other culture. Look at there. That's a good one. That's an actual inscription of them there. So you can't even say that people went and did this, after the fact or after the Bible or anything like that, or I know I'll get a lot of times, and I've had this happen. Erik, that stuff was planted here by Satan. Okay? I've heard that one actually a lot. That one's been brought up a couple times. And, if he did, he's a crafty son of a gun. Huh?
That's a bit ridiculous.
It is a bit ridiculous because, I don't know, I just think that, where do you begin with Satan? If I say what I think about Satan, I may lose a lot of viewers because I think he's an idea more than anything, and that's all I'll just say. The evil, sly darkness. There is darkness, polarity to this world, but then you start to analyze the darkness. What side are you really on, and what is really darkness when you look at actions? Actions do speak louder than words. So, are you on the good side or the bad side, right? Well, it depends on who you're talking to thinks you're bad or good, right? I think we should, if we could just get rid of all religion and any idea that is organizing a people together. That's a really cool picture. Any idea of religious sects of, this person, like, would you let this guy come in your church? Think about it. I think, people might be scared to let him in the church, but realistically, he's not a bad guy. I mean, he brought a lot of amazing wisdom, right? He's the Lord of wisdom. Okay, but again, think about that. Put that in your notes. Lord of Wisdom. You see, it kind of reminds me of King of Solomon, who is the wisest and the most wealthy man on the planet. He's a King Solomon. Well, what do you think this guy is? He's kind of like a king, isn't he? King, you know, Hermes. He's an alchemist, right? For royalty. All right? So, pretty neat stuff. It's, oh, thought-provoking. Thought-provoking. That's cool. I like that one. Yes, grab your popcorn. Do like him. And get your popcorn. Get your light bulb on. And let's get ready for the... Oh, chapter 2. Tablets 2. Okay. Some people might need some retuning. I hear this every once in a while. Alright. That was enough for me. Alright, here we go. So we had now, before me opens the portal. Go I down in the darkness of night. Okay. That's deep. That's deep. That's cool. Another picture of him there. Alright, that was page 8, tablet 2, the halls of Amenti. Okay, now if you're still tuning in and watching, thanks. Share this, like it if you want. Cool, cool, cool. It helps get the word out. If you like this message especially, you know, like I said, we're reading all the sacred books live, and what we're going to try to do is take our notes, and if you guys can follow along, you can help me out, because we can all work together to piece the pieces together, like this puzzle behind me here. And if you find some things that you think that, you know, kind of sound familiar or correlate, hey, just type them in this video link so we can work together to kind of see if there's any similarities, compare and contrast between this, the Bible, and the other sacred books. Okay, because I've already read Thoth a couple times, the 12 Pyramids, and I mean, it is crazy because it was like revisiting an old friend. I felt like Jesus Christ was in this pelican man's body. Okay, kind of frightening. And I think that's part of the reason religious zealots, preachers, pastors, and ministers, evangelists, they'll tell you, oh, that's evil, be careful with that. Or they'll say, don't go and read that, it's forbidden, it's foreboding. Okay, why? I mean, it should just be taken as any history book or ancient history throughout any other time. Was it because they didn't get to change and tamper that history that might be the reason why they're offended? You see, throughout history, they've always been able to rewrite history. Whoever was in control had power of the Ark of the Covenant or had control of the world, had Mount Meru. In other words, whoever has control of Mount Meru, North Pole, that swastika, they're the ones who get to call the shots. They're the ones who get to rewrite history that fits their culture. It looks like it went in the hands of the more Caucasian white man's hands. But do you think that the white man really built the pyramids? Get real. And speaking of getting real on that topic, I want y'all to check out, I want you to check out the video I have with the lighthouse. Okay, I'm not getting sidetracked. I'm actually on point here. We have, okay, here it is, the playlist, which I'll put the playlist below. You got to check out my dude here, Lighthouse, Jamar Milton. We actually put a video of his most important segments, and we meshed them together. And I'd say go check him out as well. But I'll just give you a little pre-introduction.
Minds. The mystery of the pyramids. The mystery of the pyramids. I think it's important that if we...
And there you have it. He goes into the mystery of the pyramids, giants, and the tree of life.
They don't keep shutting us down. That's what we got to do. We gotta fight the moles. We got to cut these damn agents' heads off, man. That's what we about. So, with that being said, may the divine force in me greet the divine force in you. Do I. Peace. I should.
Do your research. our channel.
I mean, those of you who have been following, you already know what's going on and what's happened, but...
We're back here. They're trying to take us down. It's all right. We're back. The HalleluYAH show. Let's get retuned. We're going to get retuned here. This is the 432 hertz. All right. That's fun. Okay, was disconnected. Oh, weekend. Hey, everybody, we're back again, I think. I don't want to speak too quickly here, but as we get over to this side, okay, you know, I'm afraid to start going, and then it's going to reconnect while we're on tablet, too. But whenever we get cut off like that, just go ahead and invite some of your friends. That would be really cool. That's what I have to do, is kind of sit here and invite some people, because this is a really good segment, and we want to bring as many of you guys along for the research, and that's what I am initiating each person tonight that's watching and tuning in. This is a very special night for you all, because this is the first segment on this account where we have a huge reach and following of people, and we already have many HalleluYAH shows where we read the HalleluYAH Hebrew scriptures, and we're doing this for fun, we're doing this for free. It's not, you know, we don't have to be doing any of this, but we want to make it educational and thought-provoking. And what we do is you can look up hashtag ThoughtProfess, okay? And ThoughtProfess is what you are. We're going to initiate each person tonight as a thought professor or a thought researcher, okay? Thought professor, researcher. And as you're watching these shows, it's our job together as fighting for humanity, okay? For humanity. It's our responsibility, right? To figure out when people are lying to us. We are one, us. United, we stand. And if we don't stand united, then we fall divided, right? You may have heard something like that. If we stand for nothing, we fall for everything. So, we're not about religious bigotry, dogma, and doctrinal faith, or anything like that. No one's faith is the only faith, or one road to wherever. Initially, it all connects to the unconditional consciousness, and that is found within the Merkaba, the Mount Meru, what have you. And so, that said, I am initiating each person tonight be a thought professor as we go into Emerald Tablet number 2. And let us know if there's any books or information you think would be a good book to have on the HalleluYAH show. Get your notepad out, take notes. We're open to hear your thoughts. If you know, hey, there's this YouTube channel or this guy that's got some information, go ahead and post it below. We want to network and keep all this amazing information and make it available to those who maybe are not as inclined, not as enlightened, and don't have the connections like that. You know, we want to be the top, most optimum connection for the true truth. And we know the truth is permittable. We know it changes. One day you can live and believe in Santa Claus, and you know what? We're all evolving. That's the beautiful thing. You may be 10 years old believing Santa Claus. At 11, you may say, I don't believe Santa Claus anymore. I like the fat old guy. He was pretty cool, old jolly. And maybe you didn't take it as easy as some people. You didn't take it as well. And you started to cry your butt off, and tears, and it was terrible. I know, it's terrible. And some people may say that about Jesus. I don't believe in Jesus anymore. But I say this, anybody that does say that, on the receiving end, if you do believe Jesus, it is nothing worse than not being accepted from that. So just make it I don't know, a challenge, or, I don't know, somehow exercise patience, tolerance, effective communication, and acceptance, tolerance, patience, and effective communication with people that, you know, maybe they left the idea of Jesus. Don't go and say that you're crazy, whacked out, delusional. That's just not gonna help unify us. Okay, maybe they don't have faith quite like you do, in that belief. And it doesn't mean one person's more holy or righteous than the other. And please don't say you're going to hell. That's just really not nice to say. So, you know, just some natural etiquette. And I think that I'm just going to say, for me, believing in Jesus and God and all that stuff, what that did for me, whether it's true or false, Yahuah was his name, black man, Arab, Palestinian man, olive skin, or dark Negro, it doesn't matter, okay? You know, if that's what you believe, that's what you believe. And I just say this, that I feel it's when you put your thinking cap off and you put your human responsibilities that we just talked about, we put all that down, don't we? Oh, Jesus is just coming back, right? Don't have to do anything. Jesus is coming back. We're going to heaven. That's not the way to be either way. Because even so, Yahuah said to be the light of the world. So is being the light of the world, judging people, hating, discriminating, going to war, warmongering in the name of God, teaching hatred in the name of God? I don't even think that story portrays any hate in it. And you know, that's what I'm getting at. All these stories, all these ancient stories, all these things, they have the same point, that they turn a religion into it and it makes it a bad thing. The people who believe aren't necessarily bad, and it's not a bad thing they're reading. But what I feel it becomes toxic poison to all of this is religiosity, which is organizing a spiritual thought or belief. It's almost like making money off of artwork. How do you profiteer off of real creative art? Truth be known, you really can't. But in this world you can. And that tension of taking out of the well and not returning into the well is kind of what seems to be the problem in today's society. So anyway, not going to get into a whole shindig over that. But I'm saying just try to exercise having an open mind as you're listening to the Emerald Tablets. I know a lot of folks on here, Christians, Catholics, we got Jewish individuals, Judeo-Christians, atheists, you know, Kemites, you name it, Hebrews, we have them all on here. So we accept all to come. We are not against any religious people or connotation to religious beliefs or certain sacred books or belief systems. We're against hate, okay? So you're welcome. Welcome, come in. We welcome you. Thank you for being here.
2. The halls of Amenti. Deep in the earth's heart lie the halls of Amenti. Far neath the island of sunken Atlantis, halls of the dead and halls of the living, bathed in the fire of the infinite all. Far in the past time, lost in the space-time, the children of light look down on the world. See the children of men in their bondage, bound by the force that came from beyond. Knew they that only by freedom from bondage could man ever rise from the earth to the sun. Down they descended and created bodies, taking the semblance of men as their own. The masters of everything said after their forming, we are they who were formed from the space dust, partaking of life from the infinite all, living in the world as children of men, like and yet unlike the children of men. Then for a dwelling place, far neath the earth crust, blasted great spaces they by their power, spaces apart from the children of men, surrounded them by forces and power, shielded from harm, they the halls of the dead. Side by side then, placed they other spaces, filled them with life and with light from above. Builded they then the halls of Amenti, that they might dwell eternally there, living with life to eternity's end. 32 were there of the children, sons of light, who would come among men, seeking to free from the bondage of darkness those who were bound by the force from beyond. Deep in the halls of life grew a flower, flaming, expanding, driving backward the night. Placed in the center, a ray of great potence, life-giving, light-giving, filling with power all who came near it. Placed they around it thrones, 32, places for each of the children of light. Place that they were bathed in the radiance, filled with the life from the eternal light. There, time after time, placed they first created bodies, so that they might be filled with the spirit of life. 100 years out of each 1,000 must the life-giving light flame forth on these bodies, quickening, awakening the spirit of life. There in the circle from eon to eon sit the great masters, living a life not known among men. There in the halls of life they lie sleeping. Free flows their soul through the bodies of men, time after time while their bodies lie sleeping, incarnate they in the bodies of men. Teaching and guiding onward and upward, out of the darkness into the light. There in the hall of life, filled with their wisdom, known not to the races of man, living forever neath the cold fire of life, sit the children of light. Times there are when they awaken, come from the depths to be lights among men, infinite they among finite.
Wow.
He who by progress has grown from the darkness, lifted himself from the night into light. Free is he made of the halls of Amenti, free of the flower of light and life. Guided he then by wisdom and knowledge, passes from man to the master of life. There he may dwell as one with the masters, free from the bonds of the darkness of night. Seated within the flower of radiance sit 7 lords from the space-time above us, helping and guiding through infinite wisdom, the pathway through time of the children of men. Mighty and strange they, veiled with their power, silent, all-knowing, drawing the life force. Different, yet one of the children of men, I different, and yet one with the children of light. Custodians and watchers of the force of man's bondage, ready to loose when the light has been reached. First and most mighty sits the veiled present, Lord of lords, the infinite nine, over the others from each cosmic cycle, weighing and watching the progress of men. Under he sit the lords of the cycles, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, each with his mission, each with his power, guiding and directing the destiny of man. There sit they, mighty and potent, free of all time and space, not of this world they, yet akin to it, elder brothers they, of the children of men. Judging and weighing, they with their wisdom, watching the progress light among them. There before them was I led by the dweller, watched him blend with one from above. Then from he came forth a voice saying, Great art thou, Thoth, among children of men. Free henceforth of the halls of Amenti, master of life among children of men. Taste not of death except as thou wilt it. Drink thou of life of eternity's end. Henceforth forever is life, thine for the taking. Henceforth is death at the call of thy hand. Dwell here or leave here when thou desireth. Free is Amenti to the Son of Man. Take thou up life in what form thou desirest, child of the light that is grown among men. Choose thou thy work, for all souls must labor, never be free from the pathway of light. One step thou hast gained on the long pathway upward, infinite now is the mountain of light. Each step thou taketh but heightens the mountain. All of thy progress but lengthens the goal. Approach ye ever the infinite wisdom, ever before thee recedes the goal. Free are ye made now of the halls of Amenti to walk hand in hand with the Lords of the world, one in one purpose, working together, bringers of light to the children of men. Then from his throne came one of the masters, taking my hand and leading me onward. Through the halls of the deep hidden land led me he through the halls of Amenti, showing the mysteries that are known not to men. Through the dark passage downward he led me into the halls where he sits the dark death. Vast as space lay the great hall before me, walled by darkness, but yet filled with light. Before me arose a great throne of darkness, veiled on it seated a figure of night. Darker than darkness sat the great figure, dark with a darkness not of the night. Before it then paused the Master, speaking the word that brings about life, saying, O Master of darkness, guide of the way from life unto life, before thee I bring a son of the morning. Touch him not ever with the power of night. Call not his flame to the darkness of night. Know him and see him, one of our brothers, lifted from darkness into the light. Release thou his flame from its bondage. Free let it flame through the darkness of night. Raise then the hand of the figure. Forth came a flame that grew clear and bright. Rolled back swiftly the curtain of darkness. Unveiled the hall from the darkness of night. Then grew in the great space before me flame after flame from the veil of the night. Uncounted millions leaped they before me, some flaming forth as flowers of fire. Others there were that shed a dim radiance, glowing but faintly from out of the night. Some there were that faded swiftly, others that grew from a small spark of light, each surrounded by its dim veil of darkness, yet flaming with a light that could never be quenched, coming and going like fireflies in springtime, filled I the space with light and with life. Then spoke a voice, mighty and solemn, saying, These are lights that are souls among men, growing and fading, existing forever, changing yet living, through death into life. When they have bloomed into flower, reached the zenith of growth in their life, swiftly then send I my veil of darkness, shrouding and changing in new forms of life. Steadily upward throughout the ages, growing, expanding into yet greater flame, lighting the darkness and yet greater power, quenched yet unquenched by the veil of the night. So grows the soul of man ever upward, quenched yet unquenched by the darkness of night. I, death, come, and yet I remain not, for life eternal exists in the all, only an obstacle, I, in that pathway, quick to be conquered by the infinite light. Awaken, O flame that burns ever inward, flame forth and conquer the veil of the night. Then in the midst of the flames and the darkness grew there one that drove forth the night, flaming, expanding ever brighter, until at last was nothing but light. Then spoke my guide, the voice of the Master. See your own soul as it grows in the light, free now forever from the Lord of the night. Forward he led me through many great spaces filled with the mysteries of the children of light, mysteries that man may never yet know until he too is a son of the light. Backwards that he led me into the light of the hall of the light. Knelt I then before the great Master, Lord of all from the cycles above. Spoke he then with words of great power, saying, Thou hast been made free of the halls of Amenti. Choose thou thy work among the children of men. Then spoke I, O great Master, let me be a teacher of men, leading them onward and upward until they too are lights among men, freed from the veil of the night that surrounds them, flaming with light that shall shine among men. Spoke to me then the voice, Go as ye will, so be it decreed. Masters are ye of your destiny, free to take or reject at will. Take ye the power, take ye the wisdom, shine as a light among the children of men. Upward then led me the dweller, dwelt I again among the children of men, teaching and showing some of my wisdom, son of light, a fighter among men. Now again I tread the path downward, seeking the light in the darkness of night. Hold ye and keep ye, preserve my record, guide shall it be the children of men. End of tablet 2.
All right, let it go to the next one. Oh, I don't want it. Wow, that was really cool. I've got a couple things to say. Again, you know, not saying anything against, like I say, in religion or anything like that. Couple notes. I don't know, did you guys take any notes? Leave a post below if you took any notes. Remember I told you being a thought professor, and you know, with being a thought professor, we're just thought professing, which means we may not believe in you know, the topic at hand. Like, you know, say for instance, I've said this in the other video before about disclaimers, but you know, may say, Eric, you know, you believe flat earth. You see, I don't subscribe to thoughts that just, you know, people say and then so that's what I am, you know what I mean? Like I need some light in here, but well, there we go. That works. You know, that I'm not classified as something, as a title, because I don't like to do that and subscribe to things that then that makes me become something. I'm nothing more than a human being, and what I got out of this was very graciously that this is about light. I mean, how many times did he say light? I almost wanted to count it, because I think that's symbolic as well. As he's talking about alchemical things, he's got mystery words and meanings, so that's a lot of times semantics. But what I notice is you find these very similar wordings in the Bible. Okay, I want to look up Amenti so we can find out what that is, because he talked about the mountain of light, the mountain of light, Amenti, the hall of Amenti. Repeats to the Lord of Lords, children of men. Drink of the vial and the drink of what? Eternity. Son of light, Lord of all. Free of Amenti. Okay? So that's pretty interesting. That's just some of them I picked up. Now, remember I told you y'all are the thought professors. It's on you. It's an interactive thing. You're the researcher now. Now tell me, what do you see? What did you find in all that? That was tablet 2. We're going to 3 now. We're moving along. I know there's someone who said, if you could ask Hermes one question, what would it be? Okay? If you could ask Hermes one question, what would it be? So that was another thing that you can post. Anybody want to interact? We love it. It'd be fun. It's cool. It's awesome. It's all, no worries if you don't want to. The other thing I saw was really neat was one thing called infinite nines. Now, does anybody know the importance of 3, 6, and 9? Post below if you have any thoughts on that. 3, 6, and 9, the divine number of all. So, dua, dua, dua. Aloha, shalom, Yahuah, Yaira, Shama Shalom. If you're new and you just tuned in, because we're going to continue on track here. I just thought I would say that, and that I want to look at the Armeni. Let's see if I can find it over here. Okay, we're going to look up this word Armenti. Okay, there's Ankh. Remember we talked about Ankh. Armenta, there it is. You believe that? I was right next to it. I can't believe that. There it is. Bam. Amenta, which it was spelled as MNT. This is the symbol that represents the underworld or land of the dead. Originally, it means the horizon of the sunset. Later, it became the symbol of the west bank of the Nile, where the sun set, and also where the Egyptians traditionally buried their dead. Wow. So that's why he said Armenti, the mountain of Amenti, where the dead rise again, the land of Amenti, the hall of Amenti. Okay, so he's talking about a physical location, the land of the dead. Where do you think in the Bible it talks about a land where you die and you live forever? I have it written right here. Kodesh Mountain. Kodesh Mountain is used as the same place or thing that Yahuah says he's going to return for his people. Did you know who else says that? I don't want to ruin the surprise, but you can take a wild guess and probably figure it out. Okay? There's an individual in the story we're reading that correlates to this character here, whose name used to be Jesus. Then it was changed to this, and then it was changed. There was no I. I was invented about 400 years ago. The letter the letter J was not in existence till 1611. Okay? I-E-V-S, or S-V-S, that's it. And what did this come? The Latin. It went and it became Jesus. See that? It started out, his original name was Yahuah. If the man exists at all, it was Yahuah. And again, like I said, this is a non-biased, non-religious, non-dogmatic, so we're not sitting here acting like we know everything. But what we're doing is we're thought professing. Again, we take the pieces of the puzzle and we put them out there and we try to piece the puzzles together to figure out what the big picture is. Right? Remember that? And you're the thought professor and you're coming along with us and you're going to listen and see if you see any correlations to the Bible, to maybe another book. Maybe you have a sacred book you'd like to put down there. What we're doing, though, is we're going through all ancient sacred stories and looking at the dates they came into existence, when they were able to decipher the language and the hieroglyphics or the Sumerian text, whatever. You know, what I start to see is, I'm just going to tell you like this. I believe that as you get into more modern day times, you know, they'll start creating stuff and it'll be written in, say, Latin or Greek or maybe even English, okay? But what I start to see is it's a lot of the same recycled stuff. And as it gets passed down, it becomes less and less detailed. It becomes less and less significant. But as you go further back, we see the fingerprint. We see the tracks leading to where they originally began. We know, whether it's through carbon dating, you can look at some of these tablets and stuff. It's common sense. Some of this stuff goes back far before biblical times, or even the more modern day, when it was Nefertiti or the Sumerian text and stuff like that. And don't forget to watch our Sumerian text show. We went through the Sumerian text. We are going to read all the Sumerian text. This is the Emerald Tablet segment. If you're just tuning in, we're going to go to Tablet 3 here in a minute. So here's some of the words. If you want to pause them, if you want to know any of these words, just pause them, because these words may come up during the read, and I'm not going to stop. So you may want to write some of these down. Go to the ancient-symbols.com, and you can type in ancient Egyptian symbols, and you can just kind of follow along in case you just didn't catch up. You can catch up. There's actually page 2. So if you saw something, you wanted to learn what it means, the symbolism, you can click it. So I do know that there is the Egyptian hieroglyphics, and I believe it's called the Netra Metra. Okay? And you pause this if you want to read any of these. There they go, there they go, there we go. Atif. Now look at that word. Now here's another correlation. Take in your notes. Does anybody know Hebrew out there? Because remember, this is why they don't like you to know other languages. I'm just going to be honest with you. They don't want you to know Hebrew, Paleo. They don't want you to know, especially don't want you to know Aramaic or Sumerian. But look, I don't need to be a scholar in, what's it called? Study language, linguistics. Okay? I don't need to be an expert in linguistics at all. Okay, to know that word is a letter that's found in Hebrew, Atef. Any Hebrew scholars out there know Hebrew? Atef. It's a Hebrew letter. Here it says Atef was a crown worn by Osiris. It's made up of white crown of Upper Egypt. The red feathers are representative of Osiris, Osiris's cult center in Delta. Okay? Wow. So I'm starting to see, the more I watch this is why the Hebrews especially, I hate to say it, they don't like you to look into Egyptology. I don't know how I can say this. I have no idea how to make a nice way of saying this, but much of this information has been ripped off for the Kemetic black Egyptians. I'm just getting real with you. Okay, so you can go look that up. That's a matter of opinion, I know, and since it's a topic that we can't really decipher or determine, but I'm telling you, there's just so much. It's a gasping, just overwhelming amount of evidence that shows that these individuals were black people. And yeah, there were definitely Aryan Sumerians, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Nordic people who ruled with them. Okay, I believe that. We went in that on our Sumerian text segment, so go check that out if you didn't already. I think Shin is another Hebrew word right there. So I wouldn't be shocked if you took the whole Netra, you put it next to Greek, Latin, how many similarities there would be. And Hebrew, of course, Aramaic. They had to get away from Aramaic. Why? Because Aramaic looked too pictographed. It looked too much like Egyptology. It looked too much like the Netra. They had to go to something more modern style, more organized, more, I'd say, mathematical. And they have a sacred geometry as well, don't forget. Okay, where did they get all this knowledge? In the Kabbalah, what's the other thing? I don't know, they had some sort of like a numerology, okay? Well, all that was taken somewhere, and don't forget, we are going to be reading the Sacred Geometry book as well, okay? And let's go to the Emerald Tablets. We are on Tablet 3. I'm not sure if you guys like to have the reading or the words pop up and read it to you. That kind of makes it easier for me. Looks like there's invisible power. Yeah, that's the other thing. If you guys have any books that you'd like us to read, these are actually only about 10 minutes each. We could almost finish it all in an hour. Wow. It would go to Tablet 15. I don't know if y'all are up for that. Post in the comments below. See if you're up for all that. And appreciate y'all coming. Thank you so much for coming along. And you guys rock. You know, we love you. And thank you for coming along to the HalleluYAH show. Don't forget to subscribe and check out. We have a lot of videos. Already reading the HalleluYAH Bible. And if you guys want any of these, we actually distribute the HalleluYAH Hebrew to English sacred Bibles here, and we have the rejected books as well. And let's go get tuned so I can show you those books. And let's get tuned again. Here we go. That's 432 hertz. Ooh, that was high. Yes, we've heard frequency waves helps change DNA, correct and repair DNA, depending upon the frequency. Another frequency that's really good for healing. That was for healing. 432 C. Okay. Another one that's good for sleep and mental, DNA repair is A, which is 528 hertz, which is this. Yep. Okay, we're repaired now. It's nice. Nice. And if you have the emerald tablets before you, go ahead and go to tablet 3 if you want to follow along. We're going to put this on here. Alright, let's go for it.
Emerald Tablet 3, the Key of Wisdom. I, Thoth the Atlantean, give of my wisdom, give of my knowledge, give of my power. Freely I give to the children of men. Give that they too might have wisdom to shine from the world, from the veil of the night. Wisdom is power, and power is wisdom, one with each other, perfecting the whole. Be thou not proud, O man, in thy wisdom. Discourse with the ignorant as well as the wise. If one comes to thee full of knowledge, listen and heed, for wisdom is all. Keep thou not silent when evil is spoken, for truth, like the sunlight, shines above all. He who oversteppeth the law shall be punished, for only through law comes the freedom of men. Follow thine heart during thy lifetime. Do thou more than is commanded of thee. When thou hast gained riches, follow thine heart, for all these are of no avail if thy heart be weary. Diminish thou not the time of following thy heart, it is a bore to the soul. They that are guided go not astray, but they that are lost cannot find a straight path. If thou go among men, make for thyself love, the beginning and end of the heart. If one cometh unto thee for counsel, let him speak freely, that the thing for which he hath come to thee may be done. If he hesitates to open his heart to thee, it is because thou the judge doeth the wrong. Repeat thou not extravagant speech, neither listen thou to it, for it is the utterance of one not in equilibrium. Speak thou not of it, so that he before thee may know wisdom. Silence is of a great profit, and abundance of speech profit nothing. Exalt not thine heart above the children of men, lest it be brought lower than the dust. If thou be great among men, be honored for knowledge and gentleness. If thou seekest to know the nature of a friend, ask not his companion, but pass the time alone with him. Debate with him, testing his heart by the words in his bearing. That which goeth into the storehouse must come forth, and the things that are thine must be shared with a friend. Knowledge is regarded by the fool as ignorance, and the things that are profitable are to him hurtful. He liveth in death, it is therefore his food. The wise man lets his heart overflow, but keeps silent his mouth. O man, list to the voice of wisdom, list to the voice of light. Mysteries there are in the cosmos that unveiled fill the world with their light. Let he who would be free from the bonds of darkness first divine the material from the immaterial, the fire from the earth. For know ye that as earth descends to earth, so also fire ascends unto fire, and becomes one with fire. He who knows the fire that is within himself shall ascend unto the eternal fire, and dwell in it eternally. Fire, the inner fire, is the most potent of all force, for it overcometh all things, and penetrates to all things of the earth. Man supports himself only on that which resists, so earth must resist man, else he exists not. All eyes do not see with the same vision, for to one an object appears of one form and color, and to a different eye of another. So also the infinite fire, changing from color to color, is never the same from day to day. Thus speak I, Thoth of my wisdom, for man is a fire burning bright through the night, never is quenched in the veil of the darkness, never is quenched by the veil of the night. Hark ye, O man, and list to this wisdom. Where do name and form cease? In consciousness, invisible, an infinite force of radiance bright. The forms that ye create by brightening thy vision are truly effects that follow thy cause. Man is a star bound to a body, until in the end he is freed through his strife. Only struggle and toil in thy utmost shall the star within thee bloom out in new life. He who knows the commencement of all things, free is a star from the realms of night. Remember, O man, that all which exists is only another form of that which exists not. Everything that has been is passing into another being, and that thou thyself art not an exception. Consider the law, for all is law. Seek not that which is not of the law, for such exists only in the illusion of the senses. Wisdom cometh to all her children, even as they cometh unto wisdom. All through the ages the light has been hidden. Awake, O man, and be wise. Deep in the mysteries of life have I traveled, seeking and searching for that which is hidden. List thee, O man, and be wise. Far neath the earth's crust, in the halls of Amenti, masters I saw that are hidden from men. Oft have I journeyed the deep hidden passage, looked unto the light that is life among men. There, neath the flowers of life ever living, searched I the hearts and the secrets of men. Found I that man is but living in darkness, light of the great fire is hidden within. Before the lords of hidden Amenti learned I the wisdom I give unto men. Masters are they of the great secret wisdom, brought from the future of infinity's end. 7 are they, the lords of Amenti, overlords they are of the children of morning, sons of the cycles, masters of wisdom. Formed are they not as the children of men. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are the titles of the masters of men. Far from the future, formless yet forming, came they as teachers for the children of men. Live they forever, yet not of the living, bow not to life, and yet free from death. Rule they forever with infinite wisdom, bound ye not bound to the dark halls of death. Life they have in them, yet life that is not life. Free from all are the lords of all. Forth from them come forth the logos, instruments they are powers of all. Vast is their countenance, yet hidden in smallness, formed by a forming, known yet unknown. 3 holds the key of all hidden magic, creator, he of the halls of the dead, sending forth power, shrouding with darkness, binding the souls of the children of men, sending the darkness, binding the soul force, director of negative to the children of men. 4 is he who looses the power, Lord, he of life to the children of men. Light is his body, flame is his countenance, freer of souls to the children of men. 5 is the master, the Lord of all magic, key to the word that resounds among men. 6 is the Lord of light, the hidden pathway, part of the souls of the children of men. 7 is he who is Lord of vastness, master of space and the key of the times. 8 is he who orders the progress, weighs and balances the journey of men. 9 is the Father, vast he of countenance, forming and changing from out of the formless. Meditate on the symbols I give thee, keys are they, though hidden from men. Reach ever upward, O soul of the morning, turn thy thoughts upward to light and to life. Find in the keys and numbers I bring thee, light on the pathway from light unto life. Seek ye with wisdom, turn thy thoughts inward, close not thy mind to the flower of light. Place in thy body a thought-formed picture, think of the numbers that lead thee to life. Clear is the pathway to he who has wisdom, open the door to the kingdom of light. Pour forth thy flame as a sun of the morning. Shut out the darkness and live in the day. Take thee, O man, as part of thy being, the seven who are but not yet as they seem. Opened, O man, have I my wisdom. Follow the path and the way I have led. Masters of wisdom, son of the morning, light and life to the children of men. End of tablet 3.
All right. Wow.
Did you know that the wrong matches?
Of course. Okay. We're going to get into tablet 4. Did anybody see anything interesting? Find any thoughts that go along with this? Because I got a few. Go ahead and post below. We'll say them aloud if you've got any. We'd love it. Any thought professor researchers out there? As you've been telling you, you're a thought professor and you are stardust, it looks like. Apparently in this, it says, what did he say? He called them, let's see here, children of men. He's been referring to pretty much children of men, I believe, is anybody that's listening to him. So that in this case would have to be us. We're listening to this alchemical cycle. He did say cycle of masters of men. Okay, so I caught that. Seek, this is one I'm going to put a star asterisk, put it in your notes as something that sounds like it's from the Bible. Okay, we've had this happen a couple times now. Each time in the tablet, it seems that there is something out there that kind of sounds like something similar that's in the Bible. I don't know if anybody catches on to that. I'm having these rendezvous moments quite frequently listening to the Emerald tablets, so could just be me. It's not word for word, however, it gets awfully close. That's what I'm starting to see. It's really my observation. I don't know about yours. One of the ones I think was taken, because I know in the Bible, this is the thing, now you're talking about a guy who knows the Bible. Okay, I've read the Bible a lot. Let's just say that. I'd say that the Bible says, or excuse me, this just said fire, okay, because he's referring to fire, okay, so remember that, he said fire. He's talking about the fire, which is the most important thing when you're talking about alchemical processes. It's the main thing you need to start the process, is the fire, okay? I'll just say that. Now, he says fire penetrates all things and knows all things. Fire burning through the night, okay? Wow. And there's many different ones like that where he's talking about fire, and it's really deep because it reminds me in the Bible where it says, he's talking about the Holy Spirit and how you can receive the Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, okay? So I'm starting to see maybe that Holy Spirit is kind of what he's talking about with the fire. It's correlating, okay? But he's going through more of an alchemical thing, and so what I think if they've seen how Thoth talked highly about this fire and this process, and then perhaps if the Bible it did integrate into that, talking about the Holy Spirit as being the power that is all things, the power to understand the Bible. You got to have the Holy Spirit to interpret these words of God. You see what I'm saying? Okay, it's the same thing he's saying here. He says he's a master, and he's calling us masters of children. He says, be wise. He says here, seek not that which is law. Awaken, old man, be wise. Now, almost warning us to not go and pick up the law, which is crazy because if you think about it, we read earlier that Abraham and I think it was his son, someone, was, let's check that out, you ready to see it? This is the next phase. Wow, it's gotten a lot bolder. It's nice. Give it something to look at while we got, oh, there we go. Yeah, so the Holy Spirit and, all that, you see what's in his hand? This is the alchemical production of what he brewed up, okay, you want to say. And he has a heating, actual heat. And that's the thing, a lot of people couldn't figure it out. if you know what he's talking about, I think he had 9 steps. So he had 9 divine steps to making something, and it looks like it even has a red fluid of some sort, alchemical liquid or potion. It's like red philosopher's stone. He's got the key to immortality, the drink of immortality and living for eternity. So that's awesome. This is really a cool picture, and you see even the fumes that goes up. That's part of the alchemy, and having the intentions that are good, of having the fire, right? The fire penetrates all things, knows all things. Fire burning through the night, star bound to our body, star bound to our body. Wow. So this man, whether it's you think it's just alquackamy, alquackamy, or not, he's figuring out how the body chemistry and how we can master living forever. And he keeps talking about Amenti, which is where they believe is kind of like Shiloh, or the afterlife, where righteous or unrighteous go after they die, or go to sleep, however you want to look at it, right? Okay, so that's interesting. That's interesting, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. When it's tablet 4, we're going to next, I guess. If everybody wants to continue, I don't know. Actually, there's 15 in there. We might have to do a different segment. We'll probably have to continue the segment later. Do maybe a couple more. They're 8 minutes, and they, like I said, you are the thought professor. If we go back to this, remember we said, I want you guys to help me out. I would appreciate it. See, we had the drink of eternity, the Son of Light, Lord of all lords, right? And I don't know, I could go and examine how many times Yahuah, Jesus Christ, said, I'm the light of the world, and the way, the truth, and the light. I have no other fathers before me. And then that one that's, what was it? That penetrate, knows all things. Okay, there's one that was, he knows all things, sees all things, and hears all things, or something like that. And it's in the Bible. God, it just reminded me that the fire penetrates. So in this case, the fire is like the Holy Spirit. The individual is you, and that's him. He's the master, and through him you can become the light of the world. Is this sounding familiar at all? Oh man, this is bad. Okay, just trying to connect the dots. That's all. And like I said, I want you all to be a thought professor and help me out. Let's thought profess, be a thought professor researcher. So as we're listening, if you could, even if you don't have a notepad and write it down, maybe you want a picture, you can color it, color a picture even. I mean, we got some very visual minds out there that are watching. I know we have quite a visual audience, and that's cool too. But if you just even type in anything that pertains to this on this video segment, that would really be cool, because we're learning too, and we're open to learning more. And we know that you all out there, I have one of the most brilliant audience out there. I really do. I appreciate you all out there. I don't even know how to run into some of you guys out there. I can clearly say I have a big audience of, I'd say, one of the most genius audiences ever. And it's because I talk to you guys like you're smart, and I think you all attract that. We're bringing in smart minds, brilliant minds, and that's awesome, because you guys are not dummies, and I'm not going to speak to you guys like you're dummies. So let's go on and continue to the Emerald Tablets 4. Okay, now I will say again, we're doing this for our own experimental, educational, thought-provoking reasoning. There is no bigotry, there's no racism. This is a non-religious, non-dogmatic, and non-doctrinal, an unbiased research video for the Emerald Tablets, and we have the Hebrew HalleluYAH show. So welcome to the HalleluYAH show. live on Facebook, and I hope you all enjoy. Share, like this video if you do, as we are going to continue on here with Thoth. It's kind of like saying hot and tough at the same time. Thoth. Took me a little while at first, but Thoth. And it kind of looks like that word that is a Urban Dictionary, I think it is. Taught. Has anybody seen the word taught? Taught? I'm sure there's some people out there that have. Okay, here we go. I had to check the Urban Dictionary on that one. Okay.
4. The Spaceborn. List the Oman to the voice.
Okay, let's just start over.
Emerald Tablet 4. The Spaceborn. List the Oman to the voice of wisdom. List to the voice of Thoth the Atlantean.
Hold on, I'm going to have to hold it off. We don't have any, we didn't have our, what's it called? The credit thing. So I'm going to have to read it, and I thought I'm going to drink this real quick. Get your Moringa K that you got from us. Remember, check us out. A little bit of a commercial break. Check us out at TheKazweh.com. Right now we're taking, right now we're doing Facebook Messenger orders. So we have a lot of people order until we get our card processor up, get some Moringa K, and that's what this show is really about. Is your health is your greatest wealth. And so we stir up some Moringa K. This is that Moringa K break. If you got some Moringa K that you got from us, stir some up. Or if you got a healthy smoothie, drink, what have you, take it. And let's chug down some divine power and plant power. This one's a powerful one. Get those biophotons and that lithotic system pumping, full of energy and nutrients and vitamins, enzymatically bioavailable to the body. You may watch some of my other videos, and I'm kind of keeping it separate, but yeah, and get grounded. If you haven't, check out my grounding video I posted earlier today in the Healthy Pet group, and if you want to join that, we have some really cool secret stuff that we don't always talk about live on my feed. We got some cool stuff like that, and you know they definitely have tried to shut us down. We've been doing this 10 years, but strong for the past 5 years, and they certainly don't want us around telling the truth. And you know, go figure. And the truth is permittable. So really, what we're doing is we don't claim to have the all-knowing truth or wisdom or knowledge. We're not claiming to be prophets, gurus. We're not claiming to be magicians or alchemists. We're not claiming to be anything more than what? Thought professors. Research. So, you can hashtag Ultimate Truth Warrior X, and you'll find more of our stuff, our videos and whatnot. I'm gonna have to actually go along here. I just drink the rest of this real quick. So go to tablets 4. I'm gonna have to end up going to my writing. That's really a cool painting. Wish I could have it up here while it's reading. We don't have credits or captions on this one. I don't know why. That's crazy. Why they wouldn't have it on this one. Ugh. Wow. Strong. Okay. Alright, let's get going here. I guess I'm going to have to follow it with the tablet I have, okay? Let's see here. Here we go.
Freely I give to thee of my wisdom.
Okay, let's start over.
Emerald Tablet 4. The Spaceborn. List thee, O man, to the voice of wisdom. List to the voice of Thoth the Atlantean. Freely I give to thee of my wisdom gathered from the time and space of this cycle. Master of mysteries, son of the morning. Thoth, the teacher of men, is of all. Long time ago, I in my childhood lay neath the stars of a long-buried Atlantis, dreaming of mysteries far above man. Then in my heart grew there a great longing to conquer the pathway that led to the stars. Year after year I sought after wisdom, seeking new knowledge, following the way until at last my soul in great travail broke from its bondage and bounded away. Free was I from the bondage of earthmen. Free from the body, I flashed through the night. Unlocked at last for me was the star space. Free was I from the bondage of night. Now to the end of space sought I wisdom far beyond knowledge of finite man. Far into space, my soul traveled freely in infinity's circle of light. Strange beyond knowledge were some of the planets, great and gigantic beyond dreams of men. Yet found I law in all its beauty, working through and among them as here among men. Flashed forth my soul through infinity's beauty, far through space I flew with my thoughts. Rested I there on a planet of beauty, strains of harmony filled all the air. Shapes there were moving in order, great and majestic as stars in the night, mounting in harmony, ordered equilibrium, symbols of the cosmic, like unto law. Many the stars I passed in my journey, many the races of men on their worlds, some reaching high as stars of the morning, some falling low into the blackness of night. Each and all of them struggling upward, gaining the heights and plumbing the depth, moving at times in realms of brightness, living through darkness, gaining the light. Know, O man, that light is thine heritage. Know that darkness is only a veil. Sealed in thine heart is brightness eternal, waiting the moment of freedom to conquer, waiting to rend the veil of the night. Some I found who had conquered the ether, free of space were they while yet they were men. Using the force that is the foundation of all things, far in space constructed they a planet, drawn by the force that flows through the all, condensing, coalescing the ether into forms that grew as they willed. Outstripping in science they of all the races mighty in wisdom, sons of the stars. Long time I paused, watching their wisdom, saw them create from out of the ether cities gigantic of rose and gold, formed forth from the primal element, base of all matter, the ether far flung. Far in the past they had conquered the ether, freed themselves from the bondage of toil, formed in their mind only a picture, and swiftly created it grew. Forth then my soul sped throughout the cosmos, seeing ever new things and old, learning that man is truly space-born, a son of a sun, a child of the stars. Know ye, O man, whatever form ye inhabit, surely it is one with the stars. Thy bodies are nothing but planets revolving around their central suns. When ye have gained the light of all wisdom, free shall ye be to shine in the ether, one of the suns that lights other darkness, one of the space-born grown into light. Just as the stars in time lose their brilliance, light passing from them into the great source, so, O man, thy soul passes onward, leaving beyond the darkness of night. Formed forth ye from the primal ether, filled with the brilliance that flows from the source, bound by the ether coalesced around, yet ever it flames until at last it is free. Lift up your flame from out of the darkness, fly from thy night, and ye shall be free. Traveled I through the space-time, knowing my soul at last was set free, knowing that now might I pursue wisdom, until at last I passed to a plane hidden from knowledge, known not to wisdom, extension beyond all that we know. Now, O man, when I had this knowing, happy my soul grew, for now I was free. Listen, ye space-born, listen to my wisdom, know ye not that ye too will be free? List ye again, O man, to my wisdom, that hearing ye too might live and be free. Not of the earth are ye earthy, but children of the infinite cosmic light. Now to ye I give knowledge, freedom to walk in the path I have trod, showing ye truly how my striving I trod the path that leads to the stars. Hark ye, O man, and know of thy bondage. Know how to free thyself from the toils. Out of the darkness shall ye rise upward, one with the light and one with the stars. Follow ye ever the path of wisdom, only by this can ye rise from below. Ever man's destiny leads him onward into the curves of infinity's all. Know ye, O man, that all space is ordered. Only by order are ye one with the all. Order and balance are the law of the cosmos. Follow, and ye shall be one with all. He who would follow the pathway of wisdom, open must be to the flower of life, extending his consciousness out of the darkness, flowing through time and space in the all. Deep in the silence, first ye must linger, until at last ye are free from desire, free from the longing to speak in the silence. Conquer by silence the bondage of words, abstaining from eating till ye have conquered desire from food. That is bondage of soul. Then lie down in the darkness. Close ye your eyes from the rays of light. Center thy soul force in the place of thine consciousness, shaking it free from the bonds of the night. Place in thy mind place the image I desireth. Picture the place thou desireth to see. Vibrate back and forth with thy power. Loosen thy soul from out of its night. Fiercely must thou shake with all thy power, until at last thy soul shall be free. Mighty beyond words is the flame of the cosmic, hanging in planes unknown to man. Mighty and balanced, moving in order, music of harmonies, far beyond man. Speaking with music, singing with color, flame from the beginning of eternity's all. Spark of the flame art thou, O my children, burning with color and living with music. List to the voice and thou shalt be free. Consciousness free is fused with the cosmos, one with the order and law of the all. Know ye not, man, that out of the darkness light shall flame forth, a symbol of all? Pray ye this prayer for attaining wisdom. Pray for the coming of light to the all. Mighty spirit of light that shines through the cosmos, draw my flame closer in harmony to thee. Lift up my fire from out of the darkness, magnet of fire that one with thee all. Lift up my soul, thou mighty and potent, child of the light, turn not away. Draw me in power to melt in thy furnace, one with all things and all things in one, fire of the life strain and one with the brain. When ye have freed thy soul from its bondage, know that ye the darkness is gone. Ever through space ye may seek wisdom, bound not by fetters forged in flesh. Onward and upward into the morning, free flash, O soul, to the realms of light. Move thou in order, move thou in harmony, freely shalt move the children of light. Seek ye and know thee, my key of wisdom. Thus, O man, ye shall surely be free. End of tablet 4.
All right. Wow, that was a really awesome one. Okay.
What's up?
Dang. Okay, let's see if we can go back to that. Wow, there's so much to say on this one. You definitely see the harmony of what are you talking about, the bondage, getting, setting yourself from physical self. How you can, I agree with someone was saying here. I don't know what do you guys think about that one, tablet 4. One thing I wanted to was on page 15. Here it is. Check this one out. He says, "Forth then my soul sped throughout cosmos, seeing ever new things and old, learning that man is truly space-born, a son of the sun, a child of the stars." Wow. I told you y'all are stardust. This is according to Thoth, okay? And long time I paused watching their wisdom song create from out of the ether cities gigantic of rose and gold. Remember I told you my story about how I had kind of experienced seeing something like that, a gigantic city. And that's in my Sumerian text video. You can go and watch that as I tell you my experience. I'm not going to say much more than that, other than it could have been quite possibly something to do with the ether. It says something here, rose and gold, primal element, base of all matter, the ether far flown. Okay, so some deep stuff. Ye know, O man, whatever ye inhabit, surely one with the stars, thy bodies are nothing but planets revolving around the central suns. When ye gained the light of wisdom, ye shall be free, shine in the ether. One of the suns in the light outer darkness, one spaceborne grown into the light, just as stars in the time lose their brilliance, light passing from them into great source. So, O man, thy soul passes onward, leaving behind the darkness of night. So you're going into the light, is what he's talking about. When you die, you return to this light. We are like stars. And when we lose our light, I kind of said this the other day, that the star, the light, the star twinkles away and it dims out. And that's like the death of a person. That's what he's saying too. It's crazy. I said that too. And that the light, the brightness of the light is like when you're born, like when you're a young kid, a baby born, newborn is born. It's really a bright star is born into the cosmos. And as it gets older, the light dims and passes on into the, leaves behind the darkness of night. Isn't that just beyond poetic? Is that wisdom? I don't know. Far into space, my soul traveled freely into infinity's circle of light, strange beyond knowledge, where some of the planets, great and gigantic beyond dreams of men. Yet found I law. Okay, there he says he has the law and its beauty. So he has some order here, right? Infinity's beauty. So that was a really cool one. That was Spaceborne. Wow. Check that out. We're going to have the video on that. I'm not sure if we should stop or move forward. There's Leonardo da Vinci's wholeness, the whole, you know, you see that there with the masculine energy, the perfected masculine energy of the triangle or the pyramidal shape going up, and then the dominant female shape going down. Okay, you have the whole life eternity there. That is what we believe has been taken out with religion. They've taken the female out and they've flipped it and made it both male and male. It's kind of like two negatives creating a positive, but in reality you can't take a female out. It's like making it's two positives, and you know, it's kind of the same thing. That there's no duality. There needs to be the positive and the negative in this regard. So you know already, one man plus a woman, that equals a child. That's life. One man plus a man is just not going to equal life, and I know everybody knows that, is smart enough to figure that out. That's kind of what this is. Considering it's life, it also pertains to this very same diagram. This right here, up and down, there you have it. There's the Merkaba. That brings all life. Okay, you see that, and then the circle. Okay, then you even have the square. The square is outside the circle. Pretty wild stuff. So, yeah, and that's perfection. That's the law he's talking about. He's tapping into the law. That's that square. It has order over what? Chaos. Chaos over order. Corios, ordum. Okay? So, corpus ordum. I think it's what it is. Corpus corrodum. Okay? So, anyway, chaos over order. Now we're at the Emerald Tablets number 5. I don't know. I think we could because we appreciate everybody coming along, by the way. I mean, we could probably put this one on and just listen. When you sit back and listen, it's, oh wow, look at that. Face of God, the Chapel of Tibet. Now, you gotta understand, folks, anytime we're looking at gods, deities, things like that, it's the principal idea. There's the Merkaba. I see the Merkaba. Y'all see the Merkaba there in the middle? What this is talking about is actually Mount Meru. It's a location in North Pole, where there's one side that goes out to river goes out like this, and a river that goes out like that and like that. This was a way they could hide that literal true fact of life, that there is a literal Garden of Eden. There is Mount Meru, a hollow earth beginning in the North Pole, and we all want to go there and visit it. You can actually get there. It's near the Aurora Borealis, and we're learning more about this. Check out our Cosmo egg theory video and the one I showed you about on our channel. Don't forget how to get to our channel. We'd love to share. We're sharing some ultimate wisdom here. I posted it. I had it going, and then they kicked us off. They like to kick us off. There's a lot of agents and a lot of stuff going on. As you can see, I've showed you before your eyes videos with proof of them, with not only death threats and things like that, but they've tried to shut us down several times. That's why if you see blocked me inside and out, this account you're on right now, I was blocked for 30 days. So, you know, truth heals, and sometimes they don't like people to heal, and that's just all there is to it. So, check out the channel. It's Plott Palm Trees. You can go check out the Plott Palm Tree channel. We got a lot of really cool material and videos live on our channel right here. So you can look at that and just see what you think, because, yeah, it was a little Plott censorship and death threats. Check that video out. I might put that in the link description as well. Okay, let's see here. We're on tablets. Oh, man. Where in the world? There it is, man. We're on tablet 5. Wait a second. Oh, it was going. Dang. It was going that whole time. Hold on.
Emerald Tablet 5,
Okay.
the Dweller of Unal.
Okay, yeah, this one has a it's called the Dweller of the Moon. Oh, cool. So we did the Sun Star people, which is so we already talked about the stars, and now we're talking about the moon. Okay, we talked about the fire. See how this all correlates? Okay, so let's go Dweller of the Moon. Now you can listen to it with the captions. That helps. All right, ready to rock and roll again. Hey, thought professor, researchers out there, any correlations that you find that sounds familiar to the Bible, the Torah, any of that stuff, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for some correlations. Any Bible thumpers and Bible readers out there, you're safe, you're all right. Don't worry, this is just history books, nothing evil, satanic. We're warding off any evil spirits, any dark intentions that may be on this channel. So there's no spooky stuff going on, friends. No spooky stuff, all right? I hope that makes sense. And, you know, we love you. We wouldn't leave you to any negative, spooky demeanors or casting spells. We're not into that. The spells, the witchcraft, the soothsaying, we save that for your preacher, your pastor, okay? Because that's not what we're into, okay? Or your voodoo man, whatever. Okay.
Off dream I have buried Atlantis, lost in the ages that have passed into night. Eon on eon thou existed in beauty, shining through the darkness of night. Mighty in power, ruling the earth-born, Lord of the earth in Atlantis day, King of the nations, master of wisdom, light through Suntal, keeper of the way, dwelt in his temple, the master of Unal, light of the earth in Atlantis day. Master he, from a cycle beyond us, living in bodies as one among men. Not as the earth-born, he from beyond us, son of a cycle, advanced beyond men. Know ye, O man, that Horlet, the master, was never one with the children of men. Far in the past time, when Atlantis first grew as a power, appeared there one with the key of wisdom, showing the way of light to all. Showing he to all men the path of attainment, way of the light that flows among men. Mastering darkness, leading the soul man, upward to heights that were one with the light. Divided the kingdoms, he into sections. 10 were they, ruled by children of men. Upon another built he a temple, built but not by the children of men. Out of the ether called he its substance, molded and formed by the power of Tolan into the forms he built with his mind. Mile upon mile it covered the island, space upon space it grew in its might. Black, yet not black, but dark like the space-time. Deep in its heart the essence of light. Swiftly the temple grew into being, molded and shaped by the word of the dweller, called from the formless into a form. Builded he then within it great chambers, filled them, one forms called forth from the ether, filled them with wisdom called forth by his mind. Formless was he within his temple, yet was he formed in the image of man. Dwelling among them, yet not of them. Strange and far different was he from the children of men. Chose he then from among the people 3 who became his gateway. Choose he the 3 from the highest to become his links with Atlantis, messengers they who carried his counsel to the kings of the children of men. Brought he forth others and taught them wisdom, teachers they to the children of men, placed he them on the island of Undal to stand as teachers of light to men. Each of those who were thus chosen, taught must be he for years 5 and 10. Only thus could he have understanding to being light to the children of men. Thus there came into being the temple, a dwelling place for the master of man. I, Thoth, have ever sought wisdom, searching in darkness and searching in light. Long in my youth I traveled the pathway, seeking ever new knowledge to gain, until after much striving, one of the 3 to me brought the light. Brought he to me the commands of the dweller, called me from the darkness into the light, brought he me before the dweller, deep in the temple before the great fire. There on the great throne beheld I the dweller, clothed with the light and flashing with fire. Down I knelt before the great wisdom, feeling the light flowing through me in waves. Heard I then the voice of the dweller, O darkness, come into the light. Long have ye sought the pathway to the light. Each soul on earth that loosens its fetters shall soon be made free from the bondage of the night. Forth from the darkness have ye arisen, closer approach to the light of your goal. Here ye shall dwell as one of my children, keeper of records gathered by wisdom, instrument thou of the light from beyond. Ready be thou made to do what is needed, perseverer of wisdom, though the ages of darkness that shall come fast unto the children of men. Live thee here and drink of all wisdom, secrets and mysteries unto thee shall unveil. Then answered I, the master of cycles, saying, O light that descended to men, give thou to me of thy wisdom, that I might be a teacher of men. Give thou of thy light, that I may be free. Spoke then to me again the master, Age after age shall ye live through your wisdom. I, when o'er Atlantis the ocean waves roll, holding the light, though hidden in darkness, ready to come whene'er thou shalt call. Go thee now and learn greater wisdom, grow thou through light to infinity's all. Long then dwelt I in the temple of the dweller, until at last I was one with the light. Followed I then the path to the star plains, followed I then the pathway to light. Deeper into earth's heart I followed the pathway, learning the secrets below as above, learning the pathways to the halls of Amenti, learning the law that balances the world. To earth's hidden chambers pierced I by my wisdom, deep through the earth crossed into the pathway, hidden for ages from the children of men. Unveiled before me ever more wisdom, until I reached a new knowledge, found that all is part of an all, great and yet greater than all that we know. Searched I infinity's heart through the ages, deep and yet deeper more mysteries I found. Now as I look back through the ages, know I that wisdom is boundless, ever grown greater throughout the ages, one with infinities greater than all. Light there was in ancient Atlantis, yes, darkness too was hidden in all. Fell from the light into the darkness some who had risen to heights among men. Proud they became because of their knowledge, proud were they of their place among men. Deep delved they into the forbidden, opened the gateway that led to below, sought they the gain, ever more knowledge, but seeking to bring it up from below. He who descends below must have balance, else he is bound by lack of our light. Open they then by the knowledge pathway forbidden to man. But in his temple, all seen, the dweller lay in his aguante, which through Atlantis his soul roamed free. Saw he the Atlanteans, by their magic, opening the gateway that would bring to earth a great woe. Fast fled his soul, and back to his body, up he arose from his aguante. Called he the three mighty messengers, gave the commands that shattered the world. Deep neath earth's crust to the hells of Amenti, swiftly descended the dweller. Called he then on the powers of the seven lords wielded, changed the earth's balance, down sank Atlantis beneath the dark waves. Shattered the gateway that had been opened, shattered the doorway that led down below. All of the islands were shattered except Unal, and part of the island of the sons of the dweller. Preserved he them to be the teachers, lights on the path for those to come after, lights for the lesser children of man. Called he then I, Thoth, before him, gave me commands for all I should do, saying, Take thou, O Thoth, all of your wisdom. Take all of your records, take all of your magic. Go thou forth preserving the records until in time light grows among men. Light shall thou be all through the ages, hidden yet found by enlightened men. Over all earth give we ye power, free thou to give it or take it away. Gather now, thou the sons of Atlantis, take them and flee to the people of the rock caves, fly to the lands of the children of Chem. Then gathered I, the sons of Atlantis. Into the spaceship I brought all my records, brought the records of sunken Atlantis. Gathered I all of my powers, instruments many's of mighty magic. Until then we rose on wings of the morning. High we rose above the temples, leaving behind the three in the dweller, deep in the halls neath the temple. Down neath the waves sank the great temple, closing the pathway to the lords of the cycles. Yet ever the him who is knowing, open shall be the path to Amenti. Fast fled we then on the wings of the morning, fled to the land of the children of Chem. There by my power I conquered and ruled them, raised I to life the children of Chem. Deep neath the rocks I buried my spaceship, waiting in time when man might be free. Over the spaceships erected a marker in the form of a lion, yet like unto man. There, neath the image rests yet my spaceship, forth to be brought forth when need shall arise. Know ye, O man, that far in the future invaders shall come out of the deep. Then awake, ye who have wisdom, bring forth my ship and conquer with ease. Deep neath the image lies my secret, search and find in the pyramid I built. Each to the other is the keystone, each of the gateway that leads into life. Follow the key I leave behind me. Seek, and the doorway to life shall be thine. Seek thou in my pyramid, deep in the passages that ends in a wall. Use thou the key of the seven, and open to thee the pathway will fall. Now unto thee I have given my wisdom. Now unto thee I have given my way. Follow the pathway, solve thou my secrets. Unto thee I have shown the way. End of Tablet 5.
All right. Secrets, secrets, secrets.
What's a super easy way?
All right.
Enough
Okay. Very interesting. Thank you all so much for watching, tuning in. You know we love you. Much love and light to each and every one of you. You look good. You look fabulous and radiant as usual. And maybe you have a secret you like to share. Maybe it's a beauty secret, health secret, anything like that. Go ahead and post it below. We love health secrets. We got essential oils, stuff like that. One of ours secrets is right here, and it's actually been live for a long time. We have the moringa oil, the moringa queen oil. That's one of the beauty secrets that actually Cleopatra, and it's actually been known for ancient Egyptian beautification. It was actually called in her time, it's known as Ben oil. Ben oil is one and the same as moringa oil. So we got the moringa queen royalty oil there, and it's some really cool stuff that goes along with it. So check that out. We'll probably go into that history sometime. But with this, not to get off topic, which we did, is that, the secret spaceships. That's one thing that came into my mind. I saw was the spaceship. It said spaceships, and it was talking about, what was it? So we had the moon. That's it. It's like kind of like the dark side of the moon here. And did anybody catch anything? Post below if this one intrigued you. That was Emerald Tablet number 5. I just see a lot of similarities. I don't see what the big hype about, getting scared to read this. It's just like, I never really understood that. It doesn't seem like anything that's offensive. I think it's beautifully written. It's poetic. It kind of talks, alchemical. I don't really think he was saying, I am Lord and worship me. That's not what the idea was. He was it's kind of like the Lord of his instrument. And it's like me when I play my keyboard, and I'm here and I'm playing my keyboard, and I'm coming up with just the right creative concoction to make a song. And he's saying, you need a little bit of this, you need a little bit of that, and he's telling you about the balance of the atmosphere in the world while he's at it. And then he's doing it poetically with words that actually, in Kemetic language, like the Netrametra, which goes a lot deeper. I'm sure I could go into that and probably learn a lot. I'd suggest anybody to go do that. Before just taking these words, even this translation, face value, it goes deeper. Because, the words they use like spaceship may be something else, something deeper. I know that with Hebrew. When you learn Hebrew and you learn the different, this is the Paleo Hebrew or the Aramaic, and, you just kind of got to get those hours in to studying this language and understand what, is being said. So the word spaceships, I guarantee you, just like the Sumerian text, which is Sanskrit, the Sumerian language, it is, they use different words, like they'll say Anunnaki, okay? That word Anunnaki, and I talked about this in the Sumerian text, we like to study, okay? Wait, Anunnaki, right? Something like that, maybe 2 N's here. That's not the right word, but see, look, we're not dumb. This is why they don't like real researchers. I'm a Harvard researcher. I research things. I like to find out confounders, confounding, however you want to put it. Okay, so we look at confounding. So things that go a piece of the puzzle. We'll just say that. Confounding is a piece of the puzzle, right? Research speaking, research-wise, okay? So the piece of the puzzle, the confounder, okay? When they came out with the Sumerian text, the word Anunnaki, it was not Anunnaki originally. It was Anu gods, okay? And these were higher beings. They weren't quite like what we think. You got to remember, a lot of this and what we're doing now is a bit of mythology mixed with methodology. I've said this before. If you missed that, don't forget to replay this video. It's an important video because we have that. We have the semantics, right? What the words mean, etymology. Okay. I'm just kind of flying through it. And what else do we have? Does anybody remember? All the different studies. You have the linguistics, okay? All of it, it ties in. And then there's even the geometry, right? Sacred geometry, which is a number system that is also found in the Bible code. Okay, so we see these reoccurring patterns. The Bible Omega code, the Torah has the Omega code. So you see what we're doing here is we're just researching these man-made things. And see, the only reason they came out with the word Anunnaki was so this man, and I'm not going to say his name on this segment, you can ask me if you'd like to know, wrote a book, and he came up with the word Anunnaki. And why? Is because he could make money off of it. And that's fine and dandy if that's how you got to do it to publish your book, whatever. But, you know, someone may have published this, and I could be completely wrong on this spaceship thing. But this word, use your logic, didn't exist, did it? We identify with the word spaceship, do we not? Okay? How would you know? Because look, we use a bunch of symbols and things, right? Say that's a symbol, right? Okay, and that could mean, hi everybody, you see? And it could be only in reference to aliens, right? I'm just saying, that symbol, so every time you see that, he's saying, hi everybody, only referring to the aliens, okay? But when it comes to spaceships then, if you didn't know what a spaceship was, and they did the same thing in the Sumerian text, then you don't know what a spaceship is. So what do we have? Unidentified UFO, flying object? See? We're not really sure at this point. I'm not what that word spaceship means. But he said it quite many times. And they have pictures of these ancient models of a guy going in time travel, potentially in a space thing. I'm just going to tell you, that's part of the mythology. Okay? As a researcher, when you're talking about methodology and even reality, right, we want to go to the reality side of things, right? So as a researcher, what I do is I look for confounders that tie in with reality, which is actually called stratums of truth. Stratums or stratum of truth, right? And then there's a 95, it could be 98% or even higher percent confidence ratio, right? Confidence ratio. All right, so there's that. That means the potential that it is just 100% truth. It could be 98% confident ratio. So in the science, as epidemiology or any scientific research, when it's at Harvard as a researcher, when you do a case study or anything that has, you know, any kind of study like that, you know, with case and then, you know how all that stuff goes. You know, you gotta have, you have to really identify with the reality, the mythology, what's real, what's not real, what's maybe supposed to be mythology to help you with the astrology, right? And it's not to be spooky stuff. It literally, there's people who study the stars. A big deal, you know, astronomy, Okay, you have astronomy, astrology. Okay, you know about your day and the pattern based upon the stars. So you have that. You have the methodology of how this all works and ties together with the etymology and words. So really, what they were doing is creating a system that's very brilliant, brilliantly done. And as Egypt was very advanced, and we're starting to find all kinds of amazing stuff. Don't forget to watch our video on how the pyramids were made with Jamar Milton, and there's so much crazy stuff. And bear with us. We're not, like I said, subscribing to every thought out there, okay? But you got to be open. You do have to be somewhat open, because the reality is they're trying to mask the reality in front of us, this real history that does exist. And they don't want us to know these things that go this far back. Can you imagine? So they've got us in this modern day world. It's all coochie, peachy, cream. You know, you like it. But in reality, this all came from somewhere. You ever just woke up and been like, whoa, where'd all this come from? You know? Yeah, you guys like it, don't you? You like it. You like the Walmart land, the conventional malls, and the lights, and, you know, I'm not trying to insult you, but if you do like that, that's cool. We've all been there. But it's materialistic. It's in vain, you know? I wouldn't mind going back to the Egyptian days with a bunch of crazy designs and all the hieroglyphs on the wall, and the artifacts. But see, that's all for them, and it's archaic to them. They get to enjoy that stuff. They probably have it in their living room, but they call it a museum. Just like the guy that just released the Nefertiti mold. He had that in his house for 10 years before he released it to the public. Go figure. He was enjoying it with his wife, and by which he made the mold of Nefertiti look similar to his wife. A black woman, by the way, that Nefertiti is. He was not a black person. She was not black. So, just letting you know, you should watch the Nefertiti video on Jamar, because it's funny. When you see all this, what do you think they're hiding? This is what I hate. I hate it. I'm not pro-Afrocentric or anything like that. Like we said, we're not racist, not bigot. We don't look at race, necessarily. But what we do look at is reality. Okay? We're realists, right? Just give a dog a bone. When you give a dog a bone, you gave him a bone, didn't you? It's reality. You did it. So why ignore reality? That's one thing I can't stand, folks. I'm not going to sit up here and lie to you, because my mom did not raise a liar. Okay? I'm not going to lie. You know, you ever seen someone who's just brutally honest, tells the truth to the T, to the max? That's me. I just tell the truth. I'm not going to sit. I could never live with myself. I could not look in the mirror lying to myself. And what's sad about today's reality, hey, I can go and I can totally go off on these people. I'm just going to be real with you. That's the reality. Why are we defending these crooked, crony, unethical, dishonest people? Huh? It used to be a time and day that people like that weren't respected. But it seems like what's bad is good, and good is bad. And so we're not supposed to talk about it. Since when could we not speak our mind, our opinion, and really analyze reality? And then when someone was, you know, caught lying or caught in the mix, you could expose them and for what they were, right? So what if I were to tell you we hijacked an entire culture of people's work, the mythology, the stories, taken and handed down? What are they hiding from us? Could it be the fact that the Egyptian Kemites were actually black people, and they don't want you to know that black individuals ruled this world at one time? Worldwide ruled it. With the Aryan Sumerians? Yeah, that's right. Sumerian. See here, Sumerian. Aryan. Don't forget to watch our Sumerian Aryan segment. Egypt. And we're going to go into this more. And you know, I appreciate that. Thank you. You're welcome. You know, I'm doing this work, and, you know, I know we don't have all the time in the world to do this, but you know, it does matter. This was a part of all of our history. That's the thing they want to do. They want to divide us and act like we're not related to these people, or that we're not related to Africans. They want to keep us segregated and separated. The reality is, this is our history too. It's archaeology. What they've done is they've masked it, they've barricaded it, they put a mental barricade, they wrapped it up, they tied it up. They put it in a museum and they locked it away. And I know these things for a fact because I've been to Harvard University Library, obviously, and pretty much underground libraries. And when I say that, I'm talking about there are private libraries that you need IDs and you need to be very specific people in order to get in. Okay? I don't agree with that. I think all information should be free. We're all human people. See, what they're doing is they want to hoard information and hoard material artifacts and things of the past. See, they can make money off of that, right? Duh. They can make money off these things. They can make money off of history. They can make money off of esoteric and archaic knowledge. Things that should have been free and were definitely free before. They lock it up and they put a price tag on it. And most of the stuff that I've just told you tonight is invaluable information. You understand that? I'm telling you stuff that you're not going to get anywhere else. Because listen, the conventional tourist, the archaeologist, teacher, the professor in Egyptology, they're not going to tell you these things because it's a conflict of their own interest. You see that? They're not going to tell you, oh, Eric, yeah, you're right. That guy, he wrote that about spaceships. Why did he put that in that book? Think about it. Okay? The word spaceship didn't exist. The word spaceship. How are they going to talk about a spaceship when they don't even know what the hell a spaceship is? Think about it. They put that word in there for one reason. If you can take a piece of work and you can claim it as your own, lock it up, put it in a museum, you can then do what? You can transcribe your own written documentation of it. This is what so many people have done to the Bible. This is what so many people have done to this emerald tablets and on down the line. Okay? Because if I had those emerald tablets, I mean, your mouth would be salivating if you're a shekel lover, if you love money. All you'd have to do is take it, decipher it, word for word it, and then say, oh, we're going to change this around. We're going to add the word spaceship in here. What's that do? One, it discredits the ancient archaeology of the Kemetic history. It makes it sound goofy, mythology, and like it's fantasy fairy tale land. Okay? Now, there's one aspect of, you know, when you read this, it's definitely different. It's definitely in a different world, time frame. You know, there's obviously not a Pelican Man running around here, okay? Not that I'm aware of. Maybe there was. Again, we're non-biased. It could be a possibility that this guy created us. Okay? Just be open-minded. I'm not saying yes or no. Because I know people on my feed are watching and say, Yahuah made us all. God made us. He's the creator of the universe. That's fine if you believe that. That's absolutely acceptable and approvable. If you want to, you know, throw stones, you know. God's the way, the truth, the light. But what word? This is what I'm gonna give you the ultimate example right now. Where'd the word God come from? Gott. It's a German word that came out in 1883. Right? So what did they call God before that? You see what I'm saying? Uh-oh. See, it's little details like this. They know. They've got your preacher, your pastor, your religious zealots, your Sunday school teachers. They tell you not to ask questions. Not these questions. They don't care if you ask, you know, how many days was Jonah in the whale's mouth? They love those type of questions. They know the story. But anything outside of the story, they don't want to even recognize or, you know, realize that there's another reality outside of this. Okay? What did they call God beforehand? It may not be a big deal to you, but what if it was a similar name or it correlated to another piece of history that then correlated to another piece of history that goes back prior to that piece of history, and then it connects the dot to this other history that was rewritten and re-plagiarized from that piece of history that goes back one more further time to 100 different republications, multiple prints over and over. They doodled and scribed a bunch of words, changed it up, And now you have the written copy, and you love your little nice styly book that you spent $29.95, and you're enjoying reading it. It's not a bad story. It's just not the original, authentic text. I hope that makes sense, because what if it made so much sense that it goes back to these Egyptian people who they didn't call the creator of all this God, or Yahuah, as some people say, Yahuah, God, Lord, okay? A lot of different names. And then they'll say Satan's done this to confuse people. If God did exist, why doesn't he just come out like he used to and tell us his damn name? Is that too much to ask? Think about it. What if your God does go back, or at least the God that Thoth is talking about, what if it was legit or real? And what if it did tie to the God of the Bible in Genesis? Would you ever feel any guilt or disdainment for judging another person unrightfully and not even know the full picture? Not even look into the story? I mean, that's totally bias. It's discriminating against something you don't know. And what is that called? Ignorance. Ignorance, right, plus fear. I'm going to tell you this. Here's a math equation, like Thoth. He's good at mixing things up. This is it. Fear, being scared of the unknown, plus ignorance. Right? This is all it takes. This is how they get you every time, folks. This is how they get you right here. They get you every time with this one here. Fear. Oh, you're going to go to hell if you go over there. Oh, don't read that book about Thoth, that pelican man. Holy crap. Yeah, you go to hell for that, right? God won't love you no more. Ignorance. You don't even know if God won't love you anymore, because is he telling you that? You can probably throw 10 Bible verses at me that's going to say, oh, yeah, this is other gods. Okay, I get it. Other mighty ones, whatever. But did you know in Hebrew, the word Elohim was mentioned 6,800 times or whatever? Elohim means mighty gods. Gods. Gods, plural. And it correlates perfectly with the Sumerian text, which they call them Anu gods. Not Anunnaki. And I bet you a lot of money, $10, that I bet you that Anu gods ties in with these people here in Egypt that are flying in spaceships. You see what I'm saying? When they say spaceships, why did they do that? So they could make money off of it. There ain't no spaceships. It's a different word they're trying to hide from us. We need to go read the original text, you see? So I gotta even go find the original Emerald Tablets. You see what I'm saying? It's just like anything. Why do you think they do that? If they manipulate the words and what's published, it's the story that's written in your head, isn't it? It's what you know, right? Anyone figured out the equation? Fear plus ignorance equals hate. Hate. That's what it equals. Every time you're not sure about a person, you throw it to the side, you don't look into it. You don't really know, do you? So you shouldn't do what? One thing that you do that hate breeds. It breeds a baby. The baby is called judgment. And judgment grows. It sure does grow. And it becomes more hate. Because you feared it. You feared not knowing your own knowledge. Because see, knowledge is power. Knowledge is knowing and understanding. So when I'm reading these Emerald Tablets to you, you should be thanking me. Because if you have faith in God, Yahuah, Yahushua, it shouldn't matter how much I read these books and these other tablets and these sacred, ancient, historical hieroglyphs at all, right? You should be pretty safe. It shouldn't really matter to you. You can go right on back to your Sunday sermon or your Saturday Shabbat in synagogue and have no problem. You can tell your rabbi or your preacher, your priest or pastor, you can tell them, you know, I learned something interesting the other day. This Thoth guy talking about the space and how we're stardust and all these crazy things. He thinks he created everybody, but it was a pretty cool story. But you don't even blink an eye. If we were to talk about Harry Potter, won't even blink an eye with Harry Potter. Okay? So are you guys scared? Are you guys living in fear because of this guy here and what's on the wall? This is not a deity, not a god to worship. This is a principle. Principle. Principle is a way of lifestyle, a moralistic value, a way to go about your life. So if this brings good, nothing but light and positivity, I don't see what's wrong with it. Quite frankly, I haven't seen one blasphemous or abominating or heretical thing yet. That's funny, that heretical. Isn't that funny? Heretical. His name is Hermes, right? This is how they've set up the language too, by the way. You have Hermes. Wait, Hermes. Check this out. I just caught this. And when you get really good with word etymology, you can catch these things. Okay? Hermes. I'm probably spelling it wrong. There's an S. Heretic. You see that? Heretic. Hermes. Heresy. You see that? Heretic. There's a this following, they call itself heretic. Heretic. Okay? It's what... see, they've created another what? Religion. Yes, they created another religion to get people brainwashed and to control them. Called heretic. Following Hermes. This man is Hermes. The giver, breather of all life. You see, he becomes Hermes, right? It's just like Hail Zeus, Hercules. It's like Isis, Osiris, Ra, Amen. It's like Serapis Christo. It's like Mithra. It's like the Buddha, Krishna, Christos, Jesus Christ. It's a harsh reality when you can't accept people because of your own ignorance and you fear that you won't hate the person because you don't want to look into this information. And again, we're trying to unify people worldwide. Let's stop the hate. Let's unify. Because folks, I don't get along with everybody, and sometimes I can be rude or mean. I'm not perfect. But I'm going to say this. One thing I can't hate, I absolutely do hate, is the darkness in this world. I believe, be the best person you can be. Do the right thing and the rest will follow. But I'm going to tell you something. That if you do not if we don't unify as a people, like right now, we don't, that's what this symbol means, to unify, perfect, like a law, you know, a grid. You have the divine and the feminine, you have all of it. This is life, perfected, okay? And you in the middle, and that's your unique, divine person. And don't create a religion out of this, because I'm not a guru, I'm not a prophet, and I'm not your God. Let's make that clear. Because the idea of what I'm saying actually dismantles the whole thought of all religion combined, which is controlling people's minds with government. Controlling the mind. Mint. Judgment. You have made up your mind to judge the person and no longer are going to listen. I don't see it, I don't hear it, and I'm not going to speak what that person has to say. But what happens when you're teaching love? Light. Well, God teaches light too, right? Well, good point. A good point. All goodness is in all good things, and all good things is in us. Each one of us. So why, we need to stop, and it's been said before, I mean this, religion needs to stop. It means bind together, bond. Unless we are bonding together as a whole, there should be absolutely no reason to bond or bind to one group. that will always equal hate. You ever been in a place, you ever been around work, basketball, out and about in the public, and people you don't even know? You ever seen a clique of people that go over here, and you can tell there's the odd black sheep, or the odd duck, what is it, the ugly duckling in the corner, doesn't fit in with the other ducks. You know, that's a terrible thing. You know, you want to like fit in. Every time I see this hate, like in the church, or whatever, I think of that ugly duckling. I've never fit in anywhere. I'll just be honest with you. I have never fit in, and it's one reason. This is the thing. I am unadulteratedly have the biggest heart you'll ever see when it comes to bullying and clique making. I absolutely know there is nothing good that comes out of division, dividing someone, and then judgment on them, and then to bind these people into a group. This is what they want, folks. If we could work together, all of us, and unify and say no, and that's what my group would be, Yahushuism. Let's call it Yahushuism. This is not a religion. It is a movement about real peace. I mean this because it can work, and it absolutely will happen. Because I am putting the intent over the reality that I am bringing into existence, because on this day, nobody is going to stop me or hinder what we're doing. Initially, what we're doing is we are doing the ultimate true truth. Meaning we're putting all of it out there. We're not going to judge it. We're going to see what happens today. We're not going to judge it. We're not going to judge people. We're not going to hate. There's no bigotry. It's all about unity. If you want to call yourself a Buddhist, a Christian, a Jew, that's fine. Black, white, whatever. There's never been an actual comfortable place, an actual civil reality where every single person can just go and be and actually learn something about spirituality and actually learn how to love their neighbor. Everybody can say, well, Eric, if everybody just was converted to a Christian, then we'd all be good. Not necessarily. You would have a bunch of robots. You'd have a bunch of people who are controlled by a thought that was created by man. Whether you want to say it's created by God or not, how is that loving your neighbor? If we didn't call it Christianity, which Christians were sun worshippers to begin with, 500 years before Jesus Christ. See, that's the first thing. Christians don't even research the history, because if you did, we have a pretty volatile and bad history. And I don't mean me. I grew up, and you can read my story about how I was brought up into the Christian ministry. Okay? Ended up going through that, having a rough time, going through life, just like all of us have our own story. And I feel your story is as important as mine, and we should respect each other, as that's what respect is. You get what you give. Right? And that's what this story is even teaching, that you get what you give. You give light, you get light. That powers the fire, and you'll get eternal life where you came from, the stardust and the skies. So I don't see how anybody can judge this or judge anything else. It is a story that was written by man, whether it was divinely created, someone was in a different state of mind, whether it was alchemical, whatever, okay? The problem is people take things too literal, and what this does is it causes division. Oh, I gotta have my book, my book, my book. I think we got enough books printed out, don't you? We don't need any more God books. We don't need any more religions, okay? We got enough books. We don't have enough love. We got plenty of prayer warriors. We got plenty of prayer. We don't have as much doing. And I'm going to tell you something about doing, is it's really simple. To not do anything but love. Yes, we have conflicts of interest. We have consumerism. We have buy this, buy that. You're not worthy of this if you don't have that. Vanity, materialism. Oh, but Eric, I love that phone, and I love that whatever you love. Is it a necessity or a want? We've already been through that. And no, I'm not changing the world. But what I can do is I can start with you, and you can do it with you. And it can be starting with your human responsibility to be a better person. Be the best you can possibly be, and love other people. And with that, always do the right thing, and the rest will follow. The problem I see with all these religions is they're just that. They're a religion. And that's the problem. The problem is religion is cut off, and everybody knows it when they go into the church. Why do we identify in fellowship with darkness? Doesn't Yahuah say, or it's in Ephesians 5:11, reprove fruitless works and never fellowship with darkness? So when we go to a church and you know they're doing things that are evil, wicked, or in darkness, causing cliques, division, judgment, well, that went and stemmed somewhere. Get honest. That judgment was created by somebody. Dare I say that there are elders and shills inside of the church that provocateur drama. So there's always some madness spinning up. It's true. It's true. Go to the top of the churches. You're going to always see some piece of drama. I was in the ministry. I've been here 29 years on life, and I know. I've seen every side of it, from Baptist church, Catholic church. I've seen it in even the other sects of religion. I've seen it with my own eyes, that at the very top, that same drama and hate is occupied right there in the almighty church. But when they're on their high horse, they sure as heck know how to talk bad about you behind your back. That's the problem. And I'm going to tell you something about it which really is crazy. Is the more you talk about someone behind their back, the more you have vengeance and hate towards a person. And then you stand for the things that are in that book, that Bible. That Bible is going to hold you accountable to your own reality. As is above, as is below. And that's what this book's saying. This book's trying to tell you it. It's all there. It's all written in the Emerald Tablets. That when you believe something that you are, and so you believe you're a Christian that says the 10 Commandments and you shouldn't judge and you should love your neighbor, and then you don't follow up with that, it's going to come back at you every single time. So on a massive scale, yeah, love your neighbor, but more so when you look at it from the unity of Christ consciousness. When you awaken that third eye, you can say, oh, I don't believe in the third eye, whatever. We all have the capability. There's something that's getting in the way, whether it's greed, wealth, it's money, lust, you could say the 7 deadly sins. Just be. That's been the greatest thing for me, is I feel I have evolved so much learning all this stuff and not having fear, not having hate, and then to know that I'm doing the right thing, that I've made the right choice, that I'm not crazy, I'm not delusional. I love better than I've ever loved before. I have a peace of mind. I meditated today and sun gazed. I feel great. I feel, this is why when you say Christianity, there's so much toxic waste and cesspool in the Christian church and community. And not just, when I say Christian community, I just say religion in general, because I'm just going to be concrete. And you have, of course, this branch is Christian, Judaism, Islam, and then the other religions that aren't as popular, they're called pagan religions. And then you have at the top, you initially have religion, and then you have secret societies, and then you have the top branch, the all-seeing eye, which is the royal elite, right? So you have all that running, and it's a systematic, chaotic system. How is it running? They just keep it running off of debt and hyperinflated interest and loans and debt. Just teach their own. That's all I have to say. But with Yahushuism, We are trying to make a movement that is, you could say, anti-religious, anti-system as it possibly can be. With that proactive movement, we can, with our intentions over blood, we can overthrow the entire religious sect. You know, the Vatican won't want to hear it. The churches won't want to hear it. Their Masonic build, they don't want to hear it. We have to protest. And this is where I was getting at. We have to unify together now. That's what I love about this. If we don't unify as a people outside of the branch of religion, then we have nothing better to offer for ourselves, our future, and our children, and their children's children, and to the environment, than what they have to offer us. The people at the top of the pyramid have to offer us junk. Okay? It is what it is. Say it how it is. If we had fled to the mountain and done like Yahuah said even, and lived off the land, and allowed every single person to just be who they are and be what they want to be, we wouldn't have this hate. We have too many of these man-made books. Stop the labels. Stop the group making, the religion, and stop the titles. I'm not something or this or that or atheist or agnostic. I'm a human being. Be life. Be life. Okay? Be life. I'm serious, friends. I'm serious. Be life. That I'm going to end with the song here. Thank you so much for watching this Emerald Tablets Part 5. If you just tuned in, check out the last inning of it, and we will finish this up. Like I said, be life. That's what we're going to do. Like I said, we unify. Don't let them give us the system. We're going to take back control, and we're going to unify and be life. Remember? We're not going to just let them, oh, title. That's what I see, a bunch of title. Label. No. Imagine this for a second. This is the Kodesh Mountain. This is heaven on earth. Earth and heaven are one and the same, according to the Bible code. Okay? The Bible code says so. And I can prove that. Okay? Move the H over, and you spells heart. Heart, earth, heaven. The Kodesh Mountain, the Shamayim. Okay? Picture, envision that beautiful place, as perfect it is as heaven on earth. Okay? Let's say it's not quite like what you think. Let's live it now. No labels, no titles. We're in the mountain. We fled from immorality and any dark things. And everybody wants to be accepted and loved. Everybody wants to fit in. Even the ugly duckling. Okay? So let's all be a bunch of ugly ducklings on the mountain together, and not judge anyone for anything. Let every single person and piece of life and fiber of that person be exactly who they are. Be exactly who they were made to be. Be life, my friend. Be water. Be life.